For Cleveland's first-year head coach Bill Belichick, the Browns' 6-9 record isn't about losing. This season has been a significant step up from last year's 3-13 mark. Belichick's Browns have played with inspiration each week, and as the season comes to an end, the beginning of a new era has begun in Cleveland. In Pittsburgh, a same 6-9 record is about disappointment and frustration. And now the question remains, will this be Chuck Noll's last game? In 1969, Noll came to the Steelers with a purpose to be the best. He didn't want the celebrity. He just wanted to win. His record stands. No coach has won more Super Bowls than Chuck Noll. His name belongs in the same conversation with Halas, Brown, Shula, and Landry. Chuck Noll is one of the NFL's great winners.
NBC Sports presents the National Football League. Today, it's the Cleveland Browns versus the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Clear and cold at Three Rivers Stadium, where the Browns and the Steelers are ready to meet for the 84th time. You want a vacant seat? There's a lot of them here, a rare occurrence for this spirited matchup over the years. Good afternoon, everyone. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. Is this Coach Chuck Noll's final game as coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers? No one in the Steeler organization is giving any indication that it is his final game, and Noll isn't responding to any questions about it. He wants only to beat his arch rival, a team he once played for, the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, you know, Don, Chuck Noll in Pittsburgh is affectionately called the Emperor. And the Emperor has given no indication to anyone whether his job is in his hands or in Dan Rooney's hands. But everyone's asking the question. The only indication we got was from Bubby Brister that this week Chuck Noll seemed to be coaching a little harder than he had in the past. I asked Bubby, what does that mean? Bubby said, I don't know.
Webster Slaughter of the Browns said when asked about the matchup, he said, it's always a big game when we play the Steelers, and it sets the tone for next year. The winner will be second in the AFC Central.
Yeah, Don, in our conversations yesterday with Bill Belichick, he kept saying this game is for respect. It's for second place in the AFC Central. It's also for respect for my football team. 6-9 is not good enough for Bill Belichick, but he's looking for respect again today.
Kickoff's underway. It's hit deep into the end zone, and Joe Morris does not bring it out. So on the touchback, the Browns will go on offense 1st and 10 at their 20. And there is the offensive line that protects Bernie Kosar and has been doing a good job of late. Jones, Ringstra, the former Steeler #1 pick, Mike Babb, Ed King, a rookie who's done big things at right guard, and Dan Fike. Bernie Kosar opens at quarterback as always. Leroy Horde and Kevin Mack his runners. Webster Slaughter and Brian Brennan the starting wideouts, and Scott Galbraith is the tight end. As the Browns now go 1st and 10 from their 20. Steeler outside backers up tight, looking to pressure Kosar, who's pumping on 1st down, and he makes the connection with Webster Slaughter, who's out close to a 1st down gain. They'll mark him out of bounds at the 29. A 9-yard pickup on the play, Trump. As we look at the front seven of the Steelers, Willis, the leading sacker, Williams and Evans across the front, good linebackers in Hinkle, leading tackler Hardy Nickerson, David Little, and Greg Lloyd, who's had a terrific year. Once again, heading to the Pro Bowl will be cornerback Rod Woodson, who is in the secondary of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Browns now set up with 2nd down and 1 coming up. End up, and on a power drive straight ahead, Kevin Mack, a 2-time Pro Bowl player, is stopped at 3 yards downfield, and he has a 1st down for Cleveland.
One of the things you notice about Bill Belichick's offense is that it's very conservative. They have not turned the ball over much this year. They protect the ball very well, and it's one of the things that Belichick is constantly preaching to his offense. Bernie told us yesterday he knew coming into this year that he was going to have to be more protective of the football. He certainly has, and has pleased his head coach.
The diamond formation for the Cleveland Browns, 1 tight end, 1 runner, and 3 wideouts. They used it almost exclusively last week as they went to a no-huddle offense often in the game against the Houston Oilers. Here is a throw over the middle by Kosar, and he hits his running back Leroy Horde out of the backfield. And the Browns have yet another 1st down and a 12-yard gain.
Yeah, Don, that 3rd wide receiver was Leroy Horde. Flanked out of the backfield, comes from the right. Kevin Mack is the lone setback. You'll see Leroy Horde just from the right-hand side, a little Square in over the middle. Little makes the catch, but that's 2 quick first downs for the Cleveland Browns. Because Reggie Langhorne is on IR, the Cleveland Browns do not have available a 4 wide receiver set. So here is their adjustment. Leroy Horde flanking out as almost a wide receiver.
Leroy can catch it. He's been in the end zone with 9 touchdown receptions. He scored 11 times this year. Kosar on first down, hands off, and the carry isn't for very much. The Steelers, who shut down the Bengals running game last week in beating Cincinnati here, and Mack is knocked down after a gain of a yard.
He's tackled by Greg Lloyd, and he's the nasty boy here in Pittsburgh, number 95. Notice yesterday when he was preparing for Saturday's practice, he had a T-shirt on. It said Greg Lloyd, 95. They didn't hire me for my disposition.
He wears that all the time. And Dave Brazil, the defensive coordinator of the Steelers, said, yes, we did hire him for his disposition, and on the field it's not a good one. That's what we like. So now it is second down for Cleveland, opening drive. Great playing conditions, and there might have been some movement from the right side. Somebody pulled back looking to pass block early for Cleveland.
And they've run 4 or 5 plays. Every time Leroy Horde has been flanked out.
False start. Number 68. Prior to the snap. Still second down.
Ed King, the rookie right guard, number 2 pick from Auburn, sets up early.
Yeah, comes, raises that hand off the ground, and they generally catch the big guys doing that. Well, you know, if you're going to play the last game of the season outdoors in the AFC Central, you couldn't have asked for a better day. Both these teams will be home for Christmas. They're playing out the string, but they don't have to wear all the long underwear they own today. They'll be very comfortable. So we should see a good quality performance by both teams, Don.
Temperature in the 40s. Wind shouldn't be a factor, as we see now. Second down and 15. Kosar has a starting quarterback record against the Steelers of 8-2. Good success against Pittsburgh. And again, we have a penalty marker down before the play gets away.
Too much time.
So the Browns, who started out quickly moving the ball downfield on the right arm of Kosar, now have some problems getting in alignment before the snap of the ball, and it'll be second down and 20.
Yeah, 2 straight penalties, one on Ed King, and then the play coming in late. Not one head coach Belichick wants to see. I see Joe Morrison in the ballgame, number 20. He's at Rutgers, burning against Pittsburgh. Outstanding.
Pittsburgh coaches talking about Kosar. They said, number 1, he doesn't turn the ball over. He has the fewest interceptions in the AFC, 6. Now the big rush against him, and Leroy Horde can't hang on as the big rush comes from Gerald Williams, number 57.
Lots of stunning by this Pittsburgh defense, and that was all stunning. The offensive line of the Browns could not pick him up, and Gerald Williams with a J is able to get in there. He comes from the outside. He beats Tony Jones 66. You saw the stunts. Is Bernie accurate? He puts this almost in the face mask of Mr. Horde.
But now Bernie and the Browns have a big down coming up, third down, and they need 20. 11:18 to go in the first quarter. Steeler defense last week, in the opinion of the coaches, played its best game on the defensive side in 3 years. Handoff. They try to go to the run and get a little bit, but not much, as Brian Hinkle fills quickly and knocks down Leroy Horde. So the Browns stall, and they'll have to punt the ball, and Pittsburgh will get it on offense for the first time. That's Brian Hansen, the Browns punter.
Oh, look at this. They got a new punt returner back there. Rod Woodson went back at the outset. But now they got Jeff Graham back there. Woodson, one of the best punt returners in the league.
He's been troubled by hamstring injury. Now Jeff Graham, a first-year player from Ohio State. Great speed, standing back at his 20-yard line. Hansen hits the ball at his 30, very nearly blocked a good punt as he drives the ball inside the 20-yard line. It hops out of bounds at the 15. So the Steelers will get the ball for the first time, but they'll start 85 yards from the Cleveland end zone. There he is, Trump, the man you referred to as the Emperor. 23 years, the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. We asked him yesterday, what would keep you from coming back next season? His response, well, there's the matter of a contract and other things that have to be ironed out. He didn't specify, but one would presume there's going to be a conversation between Chuck and Dan Rooney about his assistants, too. But the feeling seems to be that I get that Chuck Noll will be back.
Yeah. One of the most private coaches I think you'll ever come across in your life. No endorsements, no commercials. He stays totally by himself.
Now the Steelers go to the run, and Merrill Hodge runs the ball hard, and the Cleveland Browns come up and hit him hard at the 24-yard line. Let's take a look at the Cleveland offense. Jackson, or the Steelers offensive line, with Jackson at left tackle. Ariel Solomon, a first-year player, starts at guard again this week. Dramati Dawson's been their best down lineman on offense. Esselrig and Tunch Ilkin, the other pass blockers. Brister making his second start after an 8-game absence with injury. Williams and Hodge, the runners. Lips and Stone are the wide receivers, and Adrian Cooper emerging as a good tight end following the injury to Eric Green, who was a top tight end. He's out with a fractured ankle. On second down and 6, Merrill Hodge breaks into the Cleveland secondary, and he's ahead for a Steeler first down out to the 29-yard line.
Interesting formation there. They had two tight ends shoulder to shoulder and run the almost the Washington counter for good yardage.
And the front seven of the Cleveland Browns. Sagapulatelli, he will start at left end. Another rookie, James Jones, starts at left tackle. With Michael Dean Perry heading to the Pro Bowl again for a third straight year, and Rob Burnett, the other down lineman. Linebackers, Brandon Brown and Matthews. Frank Minifield back in good health, starting at left corner. He's been a 3-time Pro Bowl player. Now Brister swings it out. Hodge has blockers in front. They do their job as Merrill Hodge thunders across the 35-yard line and out to the 38.
Well, 2 plays. Merrill Hodge. This is well set up. And you got to disguise what you're doing here. The offensive linemen have to sell it. And you see Brister looking down the field, and key blocks by Dawson, 63. But a good job actually by the defense to get out there, and he gets a first down, or I should say gets 9 yards, but that had a chance to pick up 30. Merrill's one of those workhorses, you know. Not great speed, got real guts. He'll bang anybody.
And he's durable week after week. He's in the lineup. Now with second down and less than a yard. Brister goes right back to Merrill Hodge, and he shoots ahead. And Hodge needed 1. He got 10 out to the 49-yard line. Tackle on the play by middle linebacker Richard Brown, who is Cleveland's leading tackler.
Watch him pull. Both guard and tackle. It's Hasselrig, 77. He kicks Matthews in. Really, Tunch Ilkin doesn't get a block, but that play's worked so far against Cleveland here.
The Browns, you must be aware, certainly all the Cleveland fans are, the best at turning the ball over, forcing turnovers, as Worley goes in the offense for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Hodge has got 3 carries for 25 yards already. And Worley, great speed. Unbelievable back if he ever straightens out.
Great size. He's got the whole package. And he gets the ball. Last week when he carried, he fumbled on his first carry. This week he hits ahead for a gain of 6 yards. Down to the 45-yard line of the Browns. Tackled by cornerback Randy Hilliard. As we check the Schick Tracer 10-minute ticker. First up on the board today, Dallas. Now Atlanta with a quick touchdown has tied that game 7-all. New England up on Cincinnati. Second down and 4 comes up now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Cleveland Browns, you'll remember, lost 16 straight here at Three Rivers Stadium. Didn't win here until '86. Now they've won 4 of the last 5 years. And they've beaten the Steelers 9 of the last 11 meetings. But today the Pittsburgh Steelers are running the ball like the great Steeler teams of old. And this time it's Worley with the trap blocks opening the gates, and he pours on down to the 31-yard line. A 14-yard gain. Eric Turner gets him.
Watch the job by the offensive line. Nice little fold block up there. They get a good block on Michael Dean Perry. If they can ever get this kid straightened out, Tim Worley is going to be an unbelievable threat in the NFL. Big, fast, but he's got all kinds of off-field problems. Missed almost this entire season because of injuries and other things.
Well, they're hoping those problems are behind him. He came in as a vaunted player out of Georgia. He was the 7th player picked in the entire draft when he came in a couple of years ago. The Steelers in this scoreless game driving on. Now Brister with an out pattern, and Dwight Stone, who's had problems with drops all season, he makes some big catches, but he drops a lot of balls. Can't hold that one.
Yeah, Bubby Brister did a good job there, Don. He read the blitz coming. You can see the blitz coming, so it's just a little quick out pattern by Stone. He's looking right back into the sun. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but that ball should have been caught.
Browns be looking for turnovers, looking to force them. The Steelers have had a big problem with them. They've turned the ball over 9 times in their last 2 games. They turned it over 5 times last week against the Bengals and still won. Second down, and the Steelers need 10. Merrill Hodge. 2 arms on the ball, and he hits down to the 29-yard line. You almost wonder, Trump, why they passed the ball the way they've been running it effectively every down.
That time they had a formation of 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, and 1 running back. There's the offensive coordinator, Joe Walton. 2nd season, and he has been roundly criticized here in Pittsburgh, not only by the fans, but you're beginning to hear it from the players.
But Brister said, you know, in fairness to Joe, he said nobody deserves the beating he's taken. We've had our disagreements over what the play call should be. There's a lot of very good things in our offense, and we haven't executed a lot of them. Right now, the Steelers are moving the ball, but this is a big down for both teams. 3rd down and 6. Here's a throw downfield, and Brister, under a big rush, releases the ball. Bubby Brister is a bit slow getting up. He was looking at Dwight Stone, never got the ball there as the heat was coming hard. The big pass rushers were right on him.
Clay Matthews comes from the outside, handled by the tight end, but Jones 96, Pleasant 98. There to rush the throw by Bubby Brister, and Dwight Stone, who was the intended receiver, never even saw it thrown. So Gary Anderson on for a field goal.
Anderson, one of the best. Winds could be a factor. Now they're picking up a bit. This will be a 46-yard attempt. When the Steelers and Browns met in late October at Cleveland Stadium, you remember the Browns won it, held on to win 17-14. Anderson drives the ball up and wide. He's had his problems in the last couple of weeks. And so a Steeler drive comes up empty, and the Browns take it over when we come back to Three Rivers Stadium.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Starter. Look for the stars and you'll find Starter. By Hyundai. Yes, Hyundai. Makers of the Excel, Scoop, Sonata, and the brand new Elantra. By Coors Light. The Silver Bullet is the right beer now. And by the United States Marine Corps. The few, the proud, the Marines.
With Bob Trumpy, this is Don Criqui back at Three Rivers Stadium, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Steelers, after their opening drive, just missed a 46-yard field goal. Anderson was wide, and the Browns take it over their 2nd possession. They were stopped on their first, had to punt the ball as you joined us late. Bernie Kosar, 8-2 as a starter against the Steelers over the years, goes to Kevin Mack. Nickerson and Lloyd, 2 of the Steeler backers, made the hit. It was interesting. Brian Hinkle yesterday, Trump was saying, I don't know of anybody in the NFL that runs harder than Kevin Mack. He said you need more than one guy to hit him.
Yeah, there's one thing about Kevin Mack. He never gives up no matter what the situation is, and Brian Hinkle's characterization, I think, is absolutely correct. You know, Mack at about 230 pounds.
And fast.
And fast and tough. That's a very nice combination in the NFL.
In high school, he ran the 100-yard dash in 9.5 seconds at a time that he weighed 225 pounds. Oops. Again, a malfunction. Was it in the offensive front of the Cleveland Browns? The Steelers all jumped.
The nose tackle was across the line of scrimmage, but was he drawn offsides?
Encroachment. Defense, number 98.
Encroachment means contact by Gerald Williams, so that's 5 yards for the Browns. And it looked like the hard count there by Bernie Kosar, and Williams comes up with his hands and makes contact on the center, Mike Babb, and that's a quick and easy 5 yards.
The Cleveland Browns could set a record this season for fewest turnovers in a single season. As a team, they've only turned the ball over 13 times. The NFL record is 14. That was set by the Super Bowl champion Giants last season. Belichick has really improved that area. They've gone from worst to first in pluses on takeovers as Kevin Mack runs hard on 2nd down and a long 12 and gets out close to the 43-yard line where he's tackled on the play by strong safety Carnell Lake. Pretty remarkable.
Yeah, in one season. What a turnaround. Minus 24 last year to plus 20 this year. And in talking to Bernie Kosar about that, his line was those turnovers have given the offense 2 or 3 more times per game to score.
And often, as he said, in good field position.
In good field position, yes.
Now Kosar and the Browns have a first down, ball positioned at their 42-yard line. Kosar, the second-rated passer in the conference, has a drop by Kevin Mack, and a marker's also down. Was somebody holding back by where Bernie released the ball. Now we have a tripping call against the Cleveland Browns.
Well, so far the Browns have been able to do some things, but the penalty flags have killed them. But last game of the football season, it's only natural that there are going to be some players.
Tripping. Number 70. Offense. 10-yard penalty.
Former
Steeler, right?
Yeah, former Pittsburgh Steeler first-round draft choice, John Rienstra. Watch 70.
Whatever it takes.
It's on Greg Lloyd. Yeah, he did trip him. There's no question about that.
And a very good trip it was.
Yes. Last game of the season, no matter how much you encourage the players to keep their proper frame of mind, you can't. You know that in 2 days you're going to be back home or home for Christmas. It's very difficult to concentrate last game of the season.
Now it is first down and 20 as Kosar with a deep drop runs out of time. He screens the ball weak side to Kevin Mack.
Oh, what a play.
And a tremendous open field play by Greg Lloyd, who the Steelers all felt should have been in Honolulu come next February at the Pro Bowl. He didn't get the vote, but he's had a terrific year.
On 2 linemen in front of the running back, Kevin Mack out there on the screen, and Greg Lloyd gets between 2 of them. Rienstra outside, Babb inside. Looks like Lloyd didn't see or pay any attention either. He drops Mack for a loss. Great play, Greg Lloyd.
The man they didn't hire for his disposition, when in truth they did, as he busts by a blocker and makes the knockdown. And now Kosar is faced with another long yardage play as the first quarter's winding down quickly. It's second down and 24 for the Browns. The ball at their 29-yard line. No score in the first quarter as Kosar from the gun looks to deliver deep. Long ball. Steelers might have it. Veazey, number 91, was putting the heat on. Lloyd was coming hard again. We'll watch it back. And let's see, the signal is indeed the Pittsburgh Steelers have the ball at the 26-yard line of Cleveland.
And I couldn't tell who made the initial contact, but that second pump by Bernie Kosar really, that's what caused the fumble. Good coverage down the field. How about that? First in the last 8 games. And it certainly gives Pittsburgh great field position. Watch from behind Bernie Kosar. Lloyd is this way. It looks like Gerald Williams, 57, comes from the right. Yeah, that second pump. And there Williams knocks it loose. And then it's a free ball. It's between Babb's legs. And there are 3 Steelers there to get it, although it's between them. Anyway, they give it to Pittsburgh.
A feeding frenzy on the loose ball, and the Steelers come up with it at the 26-yard line of Cleveland.
Wait a minute, I think they're going to review this.
See if his arm was coming forward, huh?
No, I think on the fumble recovery, if we go back and look at the latter stages of that last replay, I'm not sure. Watch the ball pop out between 2 Pittsburgh Steeler defenders.
29.
Watch this happen. See it between them? So nobody has control of it, and then I can't pick up the number. But it certainly looks like at that point that somebody from Cleveland's got a hold of it.
13.
See if we can see again here. Ball is on the ground. It's Ed King, 68, who I think comes up with it, but they're going to give Pittsburgh the ball.
Yes, they are. The Steelers have the ball at the 26-yard line of Cleveland. With 2 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the first quarter and no score on the board.
But I guess from the call on the field, they got to keep it in Pittsburgh's hands.
Richard Stanley, the replay man, and he rules that the play goes. Steeler recovery, and here is Worley taking on tacklers, and the Browns hunt the ball. Worley has had fumble problems. Michael Dean Perry brought him down. As we check the 10-minute ticker, the Schick Tracer 10-minute ticker, Jets and Dolphins, no score at Joe Robbie. The Glenn and Dallas tied up 7-7. Boomer Esiason's thrown for a touchdown for Cincinnati, and they have tied up New England now. And the Colts and the Tampa Bay Bucks. The sad seasons they've had coming to an end in Tampa, Florida. No score. Now it's 2nd down and 8. Pittsburgh. Brister, the Steeler quarterback, is 1-4 against Cleveland as a starter. Worley taking on people, dives inside the 20. He's down to the 17-yard line, upended by cornerback Frank Minifield, number 31.
Well, he can get out there on the corner in a hurry, can't he? Look at Bubby Brister. I think a lot of players offensively for Pittsburgh realize what a tremendous asset this kid would be to the offense. It just puts so much speed out there for the defense to worry about it. 3 steps and he was around the corner.
Well, Joe Walton said, Trump, we asked him who he reminds him of. He said, you won't believe this, but he reminds me of Jim Brown. He's got that kind of power and speed. Coach Walton likes what he's seeing from Worley in this drive, although it started down in the Cleveland end of the field on the fumble recovery. Brister looks right, throws left, makes the connection, and then Lewis Lips drops the ball, trying to turn up field. So the nemesis of the Steeler passing game, drop balls all season long, hits him again.
Unbelievable. Louis Lips, normally very sure-handed. Very sure-handed.
Interesting call here, Trump. Anderson, the field goal unit, started out, then came back. Now they're going back in.
Catch the ball. Let's go. Louis Lips has been one of the most sure-handed receivers this team has had in a long time, probably since the days of Lynn Swann, John Stallworth. Brister can't throw it much better.
A lot of people forget the other top receiver in those Super Bowl days, Jim Smith, the former Michigan wideout. Now Anderson takes his time, and with the swing and the mechanics of a good golfer, he arcs the ball through from 34 yards out. 59 seconds to go in the first quarter, and the Steelers go on the board first, 3-0. Gary Anderson, who just hit the field goal for the Pittsburgh Steelers, now kicks off as they've taken a 3-0 lead. Ball is hit down to veteran Joe Morris, and again it's hit deep, and he'll not bring it out. So the Browns on the touchback will again start from their 20-yard line as people start up after the play. We got guys swinging at the 18-yard line, and penalty markers go down.
And one of them was Huey Richardson, the first-round draft choice. Area is number 90. It's nice to establish yourself in the NFL, but when you've missed the entire season on a kickoff, that's not what they expect of a first-round draft choice last game of the season. Chuck Noll will have something to say.
He'll have a lot to say.
George Stewart, the special teams coach, lecturing Huey Richardson, I think is the right way to put it.
What Huey has to hope now, Trump, is that he doesn't get thrown out.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. 37 and 92. 90, 90.
Harlan Barnett.
Offsetting penalties. Big deal.
First and 10, Cleveland.
But their afternoon's not over, so they stay in the game, offsetting penalties. Back in a moment. 52 ticks left in the first quarter. The Steelers in the lead on a Gary Anderson field goal. He's also missed one. Cleveland has not been close to a score in this game, as Kosar and the Browns now start out 1st and 10 from their 20-yard line. Kosar again throwing on first down. He sidearms the ball to Webb Slaughter, and he takes it at the 27-yard line. He also takes a thunderous hit from Brian Hinkle, number 53.
Interesting choice here by Cleveland. They're stretching that defense out as best they can by running Horde in motion to the outside and then throwing Webster Slaughter a little out just underneath the coverage. They have not used much two back here. They've got Joe Morris and Kevin Mack in the backfield, but that other back has always gone in motion to this point, Don.
Basic pro set now. Split backfield, 2 wide receivers. Here's Joe Morris, and he breaks it for a moment and then is knocked down as he gets to the 31-yard line. But on 2nd down and 2, he is ahead for a first down for the Browns. And that'll do it for the first quarter of play as the Steelers win the first 15 minutes 3-0. Bill Belichick in his first year as head coach of the Cleveland Browns, said we probably deserved to lose the 9 games, albeit most of them close losses that we lost, and I believe we deserve to win all 6 that we won. The Browns are much closer to a better record than that, as Kosar throws on first down, the out pat under the sure-handed Brian Brennan, who's out at the 40-yard line. A gain of about 8 on the play. And now while we have a moment, let's go to NFL Live in New York. Bob?
All right, Don, at Joe Robbie Stadium, the Jets go on a 15-play, 64-yard drive, keep the ball 8.5 minutes. Brad Baxter dives over from the 1 for the touchdown, and they have a 7-0 lead early in the second on Don Shula's home field. Back to Don Criqui.
Thank you, Bob. Here, as you see, we are in the second quarter, 14:40 to play, as the Cleveland Browns now have the ball at close to their 40-yard line. Steelers lead the game 3-0. A very aggressive Steeler defense coming off its best performance in 3 years, according to the coaches. Again, swarms to the tackler. The runner was Kevin Mack, and leading the way was Donald Evans, a defensive end, as we check now the starter 10-minute ticker. Jets, as Bob Costas mentioned, up on the Miami Dolphins 7-0. Buffalo on a Frank Reich touchdown pass to Andre Reed has taken a 7-0 lead over Detroit. Emmitt Smith has just run for a Cowboys touchdown. They lead the Atlanta Falcons.
What's wrong with Jim Kelly?
I think I'll get ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, but I heard he was going to play today. Thurman Thomas was not going to play, and neither was James Lofton, but I thought Kelly was going to be in there.
Trump, if they don't have to win, they'll keep Kelly out with a hangnail.
Very, very smart.
Here's the flea flicker. And the ball is swung out as the Steelers defended it very well. Rod Woodson was coming hard on a cornerback blitz against it, and he messed the whole thing up before it developed.
Yeah, let's give this one to the defense. When you call a flea flicker, you don't expect a blitz. And the corner blitz comes, and especially Bernie does an especially good job of just avoiding the sack, throwing that ball towards Kevin Mack.
And now Rod Woodson, after doing good work from scrimmage, goes back to field a punt. The #1 punt returner in the American Conference, heading to the Pro Bowl for a 3rd straight year. The former Purdue All-American Rod Woodson standing at his 15-yard line. Brian Hansen ready to hit the ball for the Cleveland Browns. Angle punt, end over end. It'll be tough to handle, and it skips out of bounds.
Yeah, they kicked it away from him. Browns wanted no part of Rod Woodson returning that punt, Don. Very smart.
Very smart. He almost beat him in the earlier meeting, October 27th, when the Browns held on to beat the Steelers by 3 at Cleveland. Clear and cold, perfect playing conditions at Three Rivers Stadium. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy as the Pittsburgh Steelers leading the Cleveland Browns 3-0. Break the huddle now with first down coming up after the Browns punt from the Pittsburgh 21-yard line. Back to the run. Hodge turns wide, and Cleveland's there to get him. Good D by the Cleveland Browns. Randy Hilliard, a right side cornerback, came up number 39 and forced the run wide, and they got him for a loss on the play.
This is a play that Pittsburgh has run since 1970. Off guard, off tackle pull. Great job of stretching it out by Hilliard. Gave Hodge no place to run, so that was well defensed by the Cleveland Browns. But Franco Harris ran that for years. So did Rocky Bleier. That has been one of the characteristics of this Pittsburgh Steeler offense.
Second down and 10 now comes up as Brister takes a drop. Running out of time, he fires on the run. And almost a pick. Big play by Frank Minifield, who's made many over his 8 years in the league. Lewis Lips, the intended receiver, but Minifield knocks it away.
Now, that was intended to be a screen. Lips is the outlet receiver, and Frank Minifield does do a great job, but that was really intended to be a screen. Clay Matthews, right side of the screen, is out here on the running back. You see right there, Merrill Hodge, 57 on 33. Had a Tremonti Dawson out there in front. That was going to be a screen. Minifield comes up with a big play.
Minifield with almost a pick, as in pick off. The fumble the Browns lost earlier was their first fumble in 7 games. It led to the only points in this game. The Steelers on the Anderson field goal holding to a 3-0 lead. Now Brister from the shotgun. 3rd and 10 in the play with penalty markers down as Brister airs it out deep. Cash, a tight end, was running a deep pattern, but a couple of Browns were very close to the ball, including the rookie standout at strong safety, Eric Turner.
Yeah, we had some movement.
Yep. The 3rd and 15 now.
Well, that shows some guts. Roll out left and a throw back right to the tight end. That was a long throw for Andrew Bubby Brister.
Illegal motion. Offense. Number 33. Decline. 4th down.
Browns take the down as the call was against the Steelers.
Almost intercepted by the splendid rookie from Cleveland, Eric Turner. Can't quite hang on to it.
Dan Straczynski is now into punt. Number 4. Turner with a little limp as he came off the field. Webster Slaughter's the punt return man today for the Cleveland Browns. Well hit ball by Straczynski. It drives Slaughter back to his 29-yard line. Steelers special teamers are there to get him as he loses 4 yards on the return. 48-yard punt, then a 4-yard loss on the return. So again, the Browns have the ball, but the long field to go.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by the new Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right. By the Diamond Tennis Bracelet. This Christmas, give her the gift of love. Diamonds. By Mylanta, the antacid doctors recommend most. And by Hewlett-Packard. Keep those ideas coming, and we'll keep making them look their best.
Well, Merry Christmas and the happiest of holidays from everyone at NBC Sports. The Cleveland Browns. Their offense on the field. They trail in the game 3-0 with 12:37 to play in the first half. Steeler defense hasn't given up much. Kozar's thrown well for percentages, but not for big yardage. Steelers might have got caught encroaching again as Kozar could have a free play, and he delivers the ball to his tight end, Scott Galbraith. And if the play goes, he's ahead for a gain of about 25 yards.
Well, Don, it's obvious Pittsburgh's choice defensively today. Blitz, when in doubt. In the first quarter and a half, Greg Lloyd says it's against Cleveland. But we've seen Pittsburgh blitz probably more in the first quarter than we saw them blitz last week against Cincinnati.
Pat Haggerty getting all the information. And now he makes it official.
Illegal motion. Number 34. Offense. Encroachment. Defense. Decline. Still
They're having trouble getting off the snap.
Yeah, that's now Cleveland's 4th penalty. They call it on Kevin Mack, and yeah, he does break out of his stance. I'm not so sure it's not at 93, though. Keith Willis, because he came across the line of scrimmage, too.
This is a very aggressive Steeler defense. Those safeties love to play the run and come up and pop somebody. And Kozar is well aware of that. He'll try to get him to bite on a play fake and then throw deep again. Right now, it's 1st down and 10 for the Cleveland Browns. Kozar with the out ball, and he makes the connection to Webster Slaughter. And he's out to the 45-yard line, a 1st down for Cleveland. Apparently, we had offsetting penalties as the official ruling we've got.
Well, Pat Haggerty didn't tell us that.
No, he didn't.
Come on, Pat, fill us in here. Good read by Bernie Kosar there. Greg Lloyd faked the blitz. Bernie stayed to that side, finds Webster Slaughter on the out for a nice completion. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Pittsburgh goes back to the blitz here. Last game of the season, why not take some chances?
Bernie said of his team, Trump, that we're still trying to get to know each other and learn to win games at the end. They've had a lot of tough losses of the Browns, 6 defeats by a total of 17 points. As on 1st down, Joe Morris runs the ball out to the 47-yard line. Tackler on the play was David Little. As we again check the starter 10-minute ticker.
Look at the points here in this Atlanta-Dallas game, will you?
Another, so this is a 103-yard kickoff return by Alexander Wright, a sprinter out of Auburn. After the Chris Miller to Andre Rison pass tied the game for Atlanta, Alexander Wright does big things at Texas Stadium. Now the Browns set up at their 47-yard line. Kozar looking to throw on 2nd and 8. Long ball. Too much on it. And a penalty marker comes in as David Johnson might have hooked Webster Slaughter.
That was the out and up.
The long ball we were talking about. We didn't have to wait long for it.
Joe Morris, for a little guy, had a nice pass protection block there for Bernie. It is against David Johnson of Pittsburgh. Top of the screen. Slaughter does a good job of selling this out. Oh, it's a hitch and go. And of course, you're only allowed contact the first 5 yards. They catch him.
So on the penalty, the ball is advanced to the 48-yard line of the Steelers, and there Cleveland has it, first down. Kosar comes in with 17 touchdown throws, just 6 interceptions, as mentioned, the low total in the AFC.
Wait a minute, Kosar's out of the game. What's going on here? Todd
Philcox who's come in. We'll get a report on that as soon as we can, but Todd Philcox, a second-year player from Syracuse, is now in quarterbacking the Cleveland Browns. He's going to see a blitz early.
Special play here.
Hand off to Kevin Mack, running hard on first down. He gets down to the 45-yard line, a gain of just 3. Keith Willis was on the tackle. Here's Bernie back in.
Yeah, nothing wrong with him. He just went to the sideline and wrapped a towel around his hand. I don't think there's any problem, but
let's look at his last play and see what happened.
There was a blitz. Watch Joe Morris, 50. He's blocking Little. Lands on his arm.
Bernie's had that elbow problem. It hasn't flared up as much this season as it did last.
I don't think there's any problem.
He got up with the right arm in a limp position, but now he's ready to pitch. And here's Bernie Kosar. Out pattern, and a connection is made to Webster Slaughter. First down, Browns, down to the 38-yard line of the Steelers.
Greg Lloyd was the man in coverage. Cleveland would take Webster Slaughter on Greg Lloyd for the rest of both players' respective careers.
Woody. The Browns isolate their best receiver up on a linebacker. And Cleveland now with its deepest penetration down to the 37-yard line of the Steelers.
Lloyd's hired to do a lot of things. Cover Webster Slaughter on a continuing basis is not one of them.
Bernie Kosar will look for that overmatch again if he can find it. As now he goes back into that diamond formation. 3 wideouts, 1 running back, and a tight end set left. Kosar on first down. Another out pattern. And Kevin Mack kind of sauntering over towards the ball. Looked up at David Johnson coming full speed and let it drop. Let's go back to Bob in New York.
What's happening in that crucial Patriot-Bengal game, you ask? Well, I'm here with the information. Esiason to Holman, 21 yards for the touchdown. Even up at 7. Second quarter at Riverfront. We'll stay on top of this with minute-to-minute updates. Don?
Thank you, Bob. We want to keep abreast of that as Sam White. Although I guess the feeling, Trump, is that he'll be back.
Well, I don't know.
Nobody knows.
The new general manager, Mike Brown, I mean, he didn't tell anybody anything, but that's the conventional wisdom. He'll be back. The defensive staff will be replaced.
They were speculating on NFL Live today. There could be 9 coaching changes as a big rush was put on Bernie Kosar. Bernie's down again. Hardy Nickerson, who's had a terrific year for the Steelers, a linebacker from California, came on a blitz and got him, but there are markers down at the line of scrimmage.
Nickerson was untouched, too. They get this. They blast the quarterback, and there's holding. Watch Nickerson, 54, untouched. Willis takes the inside. That's twice now that Bernie has been pretty well nailed. There's Lloyd from the outside. Again, seeing lots of blitzes from Pittsburgh.
Offense. Still second.
So the Browns again fall back as the call is on center Mike Babb. The Browns have been moving the ball downfield and then somehow seem to lose their way every trip. And with 9:52 to go in the first half, the Steelers continue to lead the game 3-0.
You know, those quarterbacks, when they get sacked like that, I don't know who teaches them that, but they always lie on the ground until the play's over. All the offensive linemen can turn around and look at the quarterback lying on the ground.
Right.
For emphasis, you know.
Look what you've done. On second and long, the handoff is to hard-running Kevin Mack. 2 arms on the ball, and he takes a hard stick. Lloyd was on the tackle, and so was Gary Jones, number 25, an extra defensive back. And third down and 15 now comes up for Cleveland. A reminder, at the conclusion of today's game, we'll be presenting the Avis We Try Harder Award, which will be given to the game's MVP. Bernie Kozar, 7 of 10, as you see, for 57 yards. The crowd starts up as Kozar drops from the gun back to his 45 and lets it go long. He's got an open man. And a penalty marker comes in from the back judge. And it could be a call against the Steelers, although the rookie, Michael Jackson, a flyer, great deep speed, ran a deep pad and then came back at the ball. It'll be a first down if the play goes.
Holding against the defense.
It's a first down anyway.
Yep. That was a well-run pattern by Jackson. That ball was halfway to him when he made his break.
It is interesting where they had the ball spotted now. It appears that Jackson came back just a bit short of where he had to go. He had to get down to the 28-yard line. And the spot is just short of that. So rather than, will they take 4th and a foot, or will they take the penalty, which would surely give them the first down?
Take the first down. You want the first down. You'll lose yards to get the first down, but they're going to measure.
And that stopped the clock.
Holding number 26.
Rod Woodson called for the defensive holding for the Steelers.
Woodson was quite a ways away from the play. See Woodson there. Brian Brennan is the man running the pattern, and yeah, that's holding. There's no question about that.
And that is a takedown as the yard markers come out. 9:05 to go in the first half.
Rod Woodson still complaining.
Mr. I'm all pro. I don't do that.
You know, interesting thing, just short. Interesting thing about Rod Woodson, he was a holdout this year for Pittsburgh. Missed minicamp, missed training camp, and signed a big contract. And one of the reasons he was a holdout was the Cleveland Browns. The money that the Cleveland Browns paid Eric Turner really kept Rod Woodson out looking for that kind of money. He didn't get it.
Eric Turner, the second player picked in the draft after Dallas took Russell Maryland, got a $3 million signing bonus. We met with Eric yesterday. Michael Dean Perry. We asked Eric what's the big difference between UCLA and the Cleveland Browns. And Michael Dean jumped in and said spending all that money. He didn't get that much at UCLA. Michael Dean with some great things to say about some of his teammates. He's has mentioned going to the Pro Bowl for a 3rd straight year. And he said of his rookie safety,
number 26, first down.
Eric Turner, and of tackle James Jones. Those young men are going to Honolulu before long to the Pro Bowl. They're that good, or will be. Now we have things sorted out, and the ball is positioned at the 38-yard line of the Steelers. Pittsburgh leads the game 3-0, and it's first down Cleveland.
Blitz again.
Bernie fakes, takes a look. He's got an open guy, and Webster Slaughter would have gone in, but he stepped out of bounds. But a beautifully executed deep throw by Bernie Kosar, taken in by Webster Slaughter. First down Cleveland.
Well, this is on the money. You see that this is the double rotation zone. The corner's up, the safety's out, and Bernie's able to put it right between the corner and safety for a 23-yard pickup to Webster Slaughter. And if he can stay in bounds, he can score. Look how accurate this throw is. How about that? There aren't many quarterbacks in the league who can read it and get it to a receiver with that little room. Bernie does it routinely.
Kosar building on his season numbers. He's completed 63% of his throws coming in. He's been better than that today as the Browns are now mounting their first challenge. Kosar gets time. Here comes the rush, and Kosar, who doesn't like to run, has to, and does pretty well at it. Down to the 6-yard line.
Nice move.
Nickerson finally got him.
The power back for the Cleveland Browns. Look at Hardy. He's making fun of it.
He has to laugh. Bernie still got some go in those legs.
Yeah, well, he's admitted to us in previous occasions that when he runs, it's ugly. He said, I know it. There's nothing I can do about it.
It's pretty good there.
Look at that move. Whoa, he put the
man.
ball on the ground, and then...
Did he roll over and get it?
I think he recovered it himself.
In a 5-yard, second down.
So Bernie going to his trick run. Brings his scrambling average up and gets his own fumble, and there's a timeout on the field now with 8:12 to go in the first half. Kosar down close with a 2nd down and 5 coming up. Wants some counsel from Belichick. The Cleveland Browns are trailing, but they're down close. The ball positioned at the 6-yard line of the Steelers. And 2nd down and 5 comes up for the first down. 2nd and 6 for a touchdown. 9th play of the drive coming up. Kosar, who probably changes plays as much or more than any quarterback in the NFL, may have done so right there. They go to the draw, and Joe Morris weaves his way down close. He's not in, but he could have a first down. Donald Evans brings him down. Joe Morris, the all-time leading rusher of the New York Giants, who sat out 2 years before coming back.
Nice block here by Kevin Mack. Watch Kevin Mack on the right hand. It's Leroy Horde. He gets on Greg Lloyd, 95, and it really opens up just that little bit of area for Joe Morris. Great block, Leroy Horde. Again, Greg Lloyd on the blitz. Horde gets him off his feet. Little Joe has still got some leg strength, doesn't he?
He's a powerful guy. He was one of the strongest players on the Giant team, and he gets a first down. Giants didn't protect him a couple of years ago. He was out of football 2 years. Bill Belichick, who was the defensive coach when Joe was running so well for the Giants, gave him a try, and he stuck this year.
Paul Farron, number 74, comes in the goal line situation here as an eligible receiver. Must report. Let's see what they come up with here. 2 backs. That's big ones, too. Horde and Kevin Mack.
Big Lee Roussan is positioned out to the right as Bernie sees something he doesn't like in the Steeler defense.
The clock was running out.
Oh, yeah. Did he get there?
Yeah, he called the timeout, but
just in time.
He's wondering. Bernie is saying, hey, when did you start that clock? Let's see if they put time back on the clock.
There's no timeout. Reset the clock to 25.
You see how observant Bernie Kosar is? There are a lot of guys who won't pay any attention to that, but look, he's looking at the clock right behind the goalpost. He sees it. Wait a minute. What's going on with the time clock here? I'm out of time. Turns to the official and says, what'd you do with the time clock on me here? Because they measured for the first down. How can the 25 seconds expire so quickly? Very intelligent Bernie Kosar. Shows again.
It really showed, and now the play clock is ticking down. Lots of time on it. 12 seconds to go. First and goal for the Cleveland Browns. Looking to take the lead. They go to Leroy Horde. He stopped by the Steelers at the 1. Greg Lloyd, 95, led the tacklers. Hardy Nickerson was also on the play. The 2 right side backers.
Oh, this is a push and a shove in. The Cleveland offensive line gets no bow. David Little, 50, a good job finding the seam there. Lloyd helps. Yeah. Leroy Horde never hits the ground.
Now Cleveland breaks the huddle. Second down coming up. As you see, second down and goal from just a yard away. Browns take the lead if they take it in. Not there. Steeler defense rises up again and knocks back Joe Morris. Gerald Williams, 57, was on the play along with Greg Lloyd.
It also looked like Rod Woodson got a hand on him before he really got going. They try to run the corner. Ford is the lead blocker. Roussan, 44, is already out there. Who comes in here quick? Yeah, there's Woodson right there. Excellent job by a number of Pittsburgh Steeler defenders.
Really was, and there was a loss of a yard on the play.
There's Woodson. He fights around the block by Roussan. Just slows Joe Morris down enough.
Now Kosar and the Browns spread out the Steeler defense as they send 2 wideouts into the game. Michael Jackson, the fast one, goes in motion. Kosar drops. There's a marker down. Kosar throws. It's incomplete. A tackle-eligible play. He was throwing the ball to Paul Farron, who you talked about, Trump, as being eligible earlier, but there's a penalty marker down at the snap.
Looks like, again, it's going to be against Cleveland. It is against Cleveland. Well, they have had their chances, Don.
They again lose their way down close.
The primary receiver certainly was not open. He had to go to the outlet.
Illegal motion, number 33, offense, declined, 4th down.
That's Leroy Horde again, which is very unusual. Horde is the up man, and he does break early. There's no question about it. Tries to get the ball to Kevin Mack. David Little's got a handful of shirt, but that's legal.
Matt Stover, Browns fans remember vividly his last field goal try. He hooked that one on the final play against the Oilers. If it was good from 19 yards, it would have sent the game to overtime. This time, Matt Stover drives it up and through. He's 23 years old, says, I'm a young man in this game. I'd like to be an old man in this game, but I won't be if I keep missing field goals like that. They want Chuck for 23 more. I don't think they'll have him that long, but every indication we get is that he'll be back next year. But that official announcement, either way, will come after Christmas. Here is a return by Rod Woodson. Marker flies in. We'll have an illegal block or a hold on the returning team in all probability. And that could negate a good 30-yard kickoff return by Rod Woodson. The tackler on the play was Joe King.
Holding 24 on the run back.
Richard Shelton called for holding on the return with 6:05 to play in the first half. The Steelers get the ball but are set back. Coming up next on NBC, game 2 of our NFL doubleheader. You'll see a battle that will determine final positioning in the wild AFC West. The Kansas City Chiefs go against the Raiders at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. The winners, you may know, will host the wild card rematch next weekend. That's the Chiefs and the Raiders next on NBC. Check your local listings. And if the Chiefs should win that game, Trump, they'll host a playoff game for the first time in 20 years.
Yeah, but how about playing the Raiders 2 weeks in a row? Or playing the Chiefs 2 weeks in a row? Not fun.
There won't be many surprises the second time as Brisker rolls out, takes a look, runs out of time, lets it go long. His tight end Adrian Cooper cannot quite get to the ball at the 45-yard line.
Well, you know, you see the guy in coverage? Mike Johnson just activated this game. Out most of the year with a bad leg. You can see he's still limping. And he's in the lineup here. And primarily, we understand, because he has bugged Bill Belichick so much about getting into the game. And actually, that's pretty good coverage for Mike Johnson. Brister, to this point in the game, just 1 of 7 for 9 yards. Close.
Real close. And it brings up 2nd down and 10 now for the Steelers at their 15-yard line. Brown defense, the best at forcing turnovers, hasn't gotten one yet, but they hunt the ball as Worley runs, and he gets out to the 24-yard line. You could see those Browns trying to strip the ball.
Well, I just watched Mike Johnson on that play. I've seen enough of him. His leg is not well enough to stand out there, take the punishment, get him out of the game before he hurts his leg again.
The starter 10-minute ticker. Dallas now has increased its lead to 10 over Atlanta. Following the 103-yard kickoff return, they got a field goal, did the Cowboys. No change in those two games, as right now the game clock's down to 5:20. Worley running well, holding on to the ball, and he's gained 36 yards on just 5 carries. He's not in now. Hodge is the up back. Warren Williams is the I back as the Steelers go with a 2 tight end set. Brister takes a look. Loses the ball. Looked to me like his arm was going forward.
That looked like Terry Bradshaw 15 years ago. He used to go back there and the thing would come out at the back end. That was a fumble.
They'll look at it again. Let's watch.
How many times do we see Terry Bradshaw do this? Jerk that thing up there real quick. Say, that thing came out when he went up to set it. No question about a fumble.
His arm has to be coming forward with the ball. That's right. So it was a fumble, and the Steelers do recover. Brister gets his own fumble back at the 9-yard line. But they've got big problems now. 26 yards to go for a first down. So early in the game, they ran the ball consistently on Cleveland. Now they've gotten away from that, and they've done nothing as the Browns defense has turned the tide.
Timeout. Timeout. Second and a fortnight. Play comes in late. Bubby's got to take a timeout, or it's 5 more yards against them. This has been a consistent problem for this offense. It's hard to figure out who's at fault, but this has happened consistently for the last 2 years with Joe Walton's offense. You see, Chuck Noll, one of the problems here in Pittsburgh is whether or not to keep Joe Walton. The fans don't want him. Chuck Noll is one of those guys who is intensely loyal. I mean, when he hires an assistant coach, he keeps that assistant coach. It's very hard to talk him into getting rid of one. And that's going to be, I think, the big rub when this season's over. If management says Joe Walton's got to go and Chuck Noll says he's a close friend, I don't want him to go. In '88, Chuck Noll acceded to the wishes of management, got rid of some assistants. I don't know if he'll do it again this year.
If he stays, he indicated to us, while the Steelers make nothing public about his contract, nor does he's indicated his contract is up. He did say the matter of the contract is Brister on the rollout. Here comes the rush, and Bubby Brister bails out, but at the 14-yard line. Now they're going to mark him out at the 11. So the Steelers offense drawing boos as it falls back. The game tied 3-3. Each team scoring. Anderson in the first quarter on a field goal. Stover in the second with one for Cleveland.
And see, here's the situation where I'd have Tim Worley in the ball game at all times. He is quick enough, fast enough that if you lay off defensively, he can pop a trap for 15 yards. He's standing on the sideline. That's the value of a kid of his talent, his speed, his strength. Just threatens a defense no matter what the down and distance is. Pittsburgh 0 for 3 in third downs.
Soon to go 0 for 4 unless they hit something big. 3rd and 24. Brister lets it rip. Going for the ball. And off his hands is wide receiver Ernie Mills as Brister with a very good throw. But those come down from on high like that, weighing a lot.
That looked like a center fielder taking the ball to home plate, didn't it? Turner 29 on one side, Vince Newsom 22 on the other side. That ball is catchable. I mean, the Cleveland Browns are very fortunate that that ball was not caught.
Up to Dan Straczynski now to get the Steelers out of jail as the Browns are looking for the big return. Slaughter standing at his 49-yard line.
Whoa.
High snap. Return was on, and Straczynski hits a beauty, driving Webster Slaughter back to his 40. And then a big special teams play, and Slaughter is swept under at the 40. So an outstanding play by the Pittsburgh punting unit. First a 49-yard punt, then Olszewski comes down to make the tackle, along with Ernie Mills. At halftime, we'll be going to NFL Live in New York to Will, Bob, and O.J. as we update what's happening around the league. Not a whole lot happening in Miami. That early touchdown by Brad Baxter's holding up so far. The Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report. The underdog Jets leading in that playoff fight with the Dolphins 7-0.
That Parcells guy, he can recover in a hurry, can't he?
Yeah, he's good at comeback power. Minor procedure.
Nothing on the heart is minor.
Fortunately, all is well as the out pattern is dropped by Leroy Horde. He's caught a lot of balls this year. Comes in with 43 receptions, 9 of them for touchdowns. He scored 11 TDs overall.
And there's a little known record that he's tied those receptions for a touchdown with people like Lenny Moore.
Yeah, it goes way
great
back.
Running backs.
If he catches a pass today for a touchdown, he will establish an NFL record for touchdown receptions in a season. It'll be his 10th.
You know, we've not seen a hurry-up offense here by Cleveland so far this game. I'm kind of surprised.
They used it 70% of the time last week against the Oilers. The hurry-up. To the run, Devin Mack very carefully protecting the ball. And he can't get started as Hardy Nickerson, 54, the leading tackler for the Steelers, fills again. The man who calls their defensive signals.
And again, I mentioned at the outset that because Reggie Langhorne is on the injured reserve, that may preclude them from going with the hurry-up. But Kevin Mack on the draw here, good idea, but defense by Pittsburgh. Hardy Nickerson and Gerald Williams, 98, right there to stop him at the line of scrimmage. Now here's the best they can do. 3 wide receivers and 2 running backs. That, with the roster that they presently have, that's all they can put out there.
And that's what they have as Bernie, with a penalty marker down, throws from the shotgun, or does he? Finally gets it away, a sidearmer. I don't know how he does it. Bernie Kosar was hit hard. He released it far enough downfield on 3rd and 9 for a first down. Michael Jackson, the rookie, making his second catch.
Ernie slow getting up.
Penalty all important now. Which way does it go?
He looks left. I think this is on the defense down. He looks left first. Good coverage there. And then when he brings it back down, who's the first guy? Is it Gerald Williams, 98? No, it's Keith Willis, 93, who makes the contact.
Browns are signaling it's against
We have a defensive pass.
the Steelers, and they will decline it because the pass was good for a first down. So Kozar makes maybe the most important play of the game, an under-pressure throw, side-arming it downfield on 3rd and 9 to Michael Jackson for a Browns first down.
You can see the great job he's done of protecting that football, not just throwing it up indiscriminately. And, of course, earlier this season established that NFL record for consecutive throws without an interception. This guy can do a lot. When you become a head coach of a team like Bill Belichick did, Bernie Kosar and guys like him are your greatest asset.
Only been great, Bernie Kosar's first 5 years in the league. He led the Browns to the playoffs. Now he dumps it off. And here is Kevin Mack with a head of steam in the open field as he crashes down to the 27-yard line of the Steelers, taken down by Gerald Williams, but it's a 22-yard gain.
On a complete outlet. Kevin Mack is not the primary receiver here by a long shot. Kind of a shot put to him. Alsowski, 55, loses his feet. What did Bernie tell us last night? Last year was the first time he went out on New Year's Eve since he was in grade school.
Right. 2 minutes to go in the first half, and running back Kevin Mack of the Cleveland Browns being attended to. Something ailing with his left leg.
They're looking closely at his knee. You don't like that.
They got one of the best looking at it, Dr. John Bergfeld of the Cleveland Clinic.
Blitz again, Don.
First down throw. The ball's in the air as it caromed off the arm of tight end Scott Galbraith. It was up for grabs. Steelers couldn't make a play on it. Everett was close.
Watch the pressure again, the blitz. Nickerson comes, 57 Williams comes, 95 Lloyd is in there. Galbraith doesn't get his head around. When you're a receiver in a blitz situation, you're the hot read. You got to see that linebacker blitz and get your head back to the quarterback so you can be the outlet. Galbraith did not do that.
He's in his second year from Southern California. As you see, is up to his catching numbers. Coming in with 25 catches. None for touchdowns. Game is tied. 3-3, and Kozar on second down goes for the end zone. Too much on it for Webster Slaughter. As we now check the starter 10-minute ticker. Dolphins have come back to tie the Jets just before halftime. Buffalo leads the Lions 7-0 at the half. Dallas holding to a 7-point lead over Atlanta. Falcons just got a field goal. Cincinnati has now gone in front of the Patriots 14-7, and Indianapolis remains up 3-0 on Tampa Bay. Here at Three River Stadium, it's a 3-3 game, the Steelers and the Browns.
Cleveland 0 for 3 in third down situations here, Don. Blitz again.
Kozar has to throw quickly, and he gets the ball away just before the rush gets to him. They came with a safety blitz. Thomas Everett, number 27, the free safety, almost got him.
The blitz has worked, and Bernie is motioning out to Michael Jackson, number 1. Hey, read the blitz. Turn your head around. You'll see Jackson is the closest man. That's Webster Slaughter was there, but he was not the intended receiver. It was Michael Jackson a little farther out. Come on, guys, get your head in the game. Watch the blitz.
Now Stover, who is good from 19 yards out, tries to give the Browns the lead for the first time from 44 yards away, and he hooks it wide left. So the Steelers will get the ball with 1:43 to play in the first half, and the game remains tied 3-all.
The latter stages of the season for Matt Stover not been one he'd like to remember. And you want to end the year on a positive note. Good snap, good set down. But when you, Jim Breach of the Cincinnati Bengals told me that when you're trying to kick hard, that's when you'll hook the football. And that's exactly what Stover does.
What he did.
Overswung his leg.
Stover has now hit 16 of 22 field goal tries this season. 1 today. It's a tie game. Steelers will be pitching as there's not much time left. Here's Brister with a deep drop. He gets time, makes the throw, but it's way high for Lewis. Lips coming over the middle.
And a flag.
Do we have someone go to the head, or try to?
Eric Turner was the guy who made the contact. Well, I'm telling you, as a receiver, when you see that ball over the middle, come up high, you can just read the name on the ambulance. Lewis Lips does miss the ball. The officials, I guess they're going to call this on a penalty. I didn't think that was a late hit. Did you?
It didn't look like it. We'll look again.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 29.
I certainly didn't think that was excessive.
He told us yesterday his idols were Ronnie Lott, Kenny Easley, who also played at UCLA, as did Eric Turner, Jack Tatum, and the late Don Rogers, who played at UCLA, the former Cleveland Brown.
He also said, just the big hitting safeties were my heroes.
On first down, a hard throw and a connection as Lewis Lips makes the first down catch and gets out of bounds at the 46-yard line of Cleveland. And the Steelers still have 1:31 to work with here in the first half.
Randy Hilliard in coverage. The defense is going to play pretty soft here with 46, 47 yards to protect.
From the shotgun, Brister on first down. Throws the out pattern. Merrill Hodge turns upfield and gets out of bounds inside the 40-yard line. The Steelers still not in field goal range for Gary Anderson. Randy Hilliard was on the tackle. But again, they stopped the clock, used just 7 seconds to get a first down. Now with a spot, it'll be short of a first down, so it'll be second down coming up. And as you see, the Steelers still have 2 timeouts remaining. Is the lone back. They play fake to him. Brister takes a look. He delivers. Almost picked off. Number 58, David Brandon, who has 2 interceptions already this year, won a game winner, as the Browns fans all remember, at San Diego in overtime when he ran it back. Almost makes the pick.
We should see this perfectly. The intended receiver is Lewis Lips. Brandon right there at the tight end, just able to get his hand up. That linebacker coverage underneath is exactly what the defense wants. You'll give him that space because it's very difficult for the quarterback to get it over the linebacker and to the receiver. Perfectly played by Brandon.
Steelers continue to struggle on third down. They have failed to convert 4 third-down tries. Here's Brister looking to run for it. Bobby Brister takes on tacklers, and it looks like Harlan Barnett knocked him out of bounds just short of it with 1:10 left. It would be a very long field goal try, but do they go for it on 4th and less than a yard?
Absolutely they do. Now, last week we saw Bubby Brister put his shoulder down on several plays. Here comes Worley. They're going for it. Bubby Brister said, come on, let's go for it. And Chuck Noll agrees. Now Brister running to the sideline. What play do you want, Joe? We're going to measure here. Give Pittsburgh a little time.
Chuck Noll, when we asked him yesterday what would he tell a young coach getting into the business, rule number 1 covers everything, he said. Be yourself. You try to be Vince Lombardi or somebody else, you're going to be a poor imitation.
Well, a lot of what he's done over the years here, people, I think, emulate around the league. Very conservative in the approach for his football team. Win or lose with execution. Still trying to get the right play here.
But the clock has stopped. 1:10 to go. It's now 4th down. They said 3rd down marked on the field, but it's 4th down and less than a yard. Now they change it. Everyone aware this has to go.
The way they're set up, Hodge is going to carry it down to the left side.
That's the call. Merrill Hodge, and does he get it? He does. The linesman comes in and marks it at the 35-yard line. 1:04 to play, and the clock has stopped.
He got it.
Needed a foot. He got him a yard.
You can see from the way Worley set up there that Hodge is going to be the ball carrier, and Hodge gets a pretty good block on number 50, Van Waiters of the Cleveland Browns. Just enough for the first down as Pittsburgh now takes a timeout to make sure they get the right people in the game and the right play call.
Chuck Noll was talking about his early coaching days. Coached the Los Angeles Chargers, one of their coaches under Sid Gilman, when they played for the American Football League Championship before about 8,000 people at the LA Coliseum. Went against the Houston team. Said Paul McGuire of NBC Sports was one of the players on the Los Angeles Chargers. And they went out and only 8,000 people were in the 100,000-seat Coliseum. McGuire wanted to introduce the fans rather than the players.
That's Foley.
Dropping to throw is Brister, and out pattern, and Williams loses the ball. Used just 4 seconds. It'll be second down and 10.
That was the screen. Well diagnosed by Cleveland. Van Waiters, number 50, was right out there with the receiver Warren Williams. And Bubby Brister was also pressured, had to throw it too quickly. Michael Dean Perry is the one who is putting pressure on Bubby, and he's got to throw it out there quickly. And there's 50, Van Waiters. Nothing in that play worked.
Brister having a tough go in the first half, and here comes the heat, and the Browns sweep him under back at the 45-yard line. Michael Dean Perry, the Pro Bowler, with his 8th sack of the year. Also on the play was Van Waiters, number 50.
Speaking of Michael Dean Perry making the Pro Bowl, you see the stunt run up front. Look at the agility for a guy approaching 280 pounds. I think it's extraordinary that Michael Dean Perry plays in a new defense with a new responsibility and still gets the respect of his opponents to be selected to the Pro Bowl. A great tip of the cap to one Michael Dean Perry.
53 seconds left when we talked with Bubby Brister yesterday and asked him if there's any particular problems in the Cleveland defense. He said, yeah, 92, Michael Dean Perry. He always seems to be in there.
Yeah, he said they share agents.
That's right.
Their agent is in St. Louis, and Bubby called his agent in St. Louis and said, hey, you know, say something to Michael Dean. Lay off of me, will you? Of course, Michael Dean will not.
Now the Steelers needing a big play. They have 3rd down and 20 coming up. They're well out of field goal range, even though they have a long distance kicker in Gary Anderson. Ball position at the 45-yard line of Cleveland. Brister airs it out. The fast Dwight Stone goes for the ball, and it's tipped away. Beautifully done by a 3-time Pro Bowler, Frank Minifield, number 31. He saved a touchdown. It was right where it had to be for Stone to catch it.
And you'll see the great defensive backs. They not only know how to cover, but they know when to get their hands up to knock the ball away. And watch Minifield here. He accelerates, and at the last possible instant gets his hands up there. Almost goes through him to Stone, but knocks the ball away for an incompletion. The best athletes in the NFL play cornerback, play defensive back. No question. Better than running backs, better than quarterbacks.
Then there's the argument, though, if they could catch it, they'd be on offense.
No, I don't agree.
Brzezinski punts as the Steelers are out of field goal range, and fielding the ball with a fair catch is Webster Slaughter at the 15-yard line. So the Browns now have 40 seconds to work with. At halftime, we'll be going to the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report. A lot of games moving quickly today. The big one in Miami tied up 7-7 at the half between the Dolphins and the Jets. Winner going to the playoffs as a wild card team in the AFC. Bill, Bob, and O.J. I was interested during the week. Bill Parcells saying the single most important statistic in football is the one that the Browns have been best at this season, turnover ratio.
Except there's a fallacy in that this year. I mean, they won 3 games last year with the worst turnover ratio. They've only won 3 more with the best turnover ratio. I don't know.
But they have won 3 more.
They have won 3 more.
Here's Bernie dumping it off. On the run is Joe Morrison. He's in the open field. Man, a big-time collision at the 29-yard line. Hey, they hit these knockout hits week after week in this league. You never stop to marvel at them, and everybody gets up.
Yeah, that was Gary Jones.
He didn't get up. He went back down. That was a line.
Brian Hinkle is also knocked silly. He can't even stand on his feet. I'm all right. I'm all right. Where are you? Home.
Guy's been a tremendous player for the Steelers, albeit underrated for 11 seasons.
Ask him what day it is. Shadow day. I'm fine. I'm fine. Let me back in there.
Let me at him.
Wiggling in his fingers. Last week, of course, Tunchilkin making a tackle on an interception return by David Fulcher of Cincinnati. He got a concussion. Let's see if we can see what happens to Brian Hinkle. Oh, he hits Joe Morris right on the hip. Helmet right on the hip. Watch again. Watch 53 will come into the picture late, just from the left. Not yet. There he is. Right to the temple.
Well, Brian Hinkle is attended to on the sideline. Dropping to throw is Bernie Kosar with a penalty marker down. He makes the connection to his tight end. Scott Galbraith catches the ball, and he's out to the 37-yard line.
Looked like Gerald Williams, that's with the J, was offsides.
A lot of pitching going on in this game as Bernie Kosar continues to throw for the Cleveland Browns.
Defense, number 57.
He has completed 13 of 18 throws so far for 119 yards. The starter 10-minute ticker. Cincinnati now extending its lead to 21-7 over the Patriots. Kosar dumps it off. On the run is Leroy Horde, the second-year back from Michigan, who was the most valuable player in the 1990 Rose Bowl. Now the Browns stop the clock with just 12 seconds to play in the first half, and the game remaining tied 3-3. Jeff Brady was on the tackle for the Steelers.
There's Bill Belichick. If we know nothing else about Bill Belichick, we know he is thorough. He interviewed 125 coaches last year before coming up with a staff, including 72 people, among them 3 women for a strength coach. So if this guy is nothing else, he is thorough, isn't he?
Art Modell gave him the green light. Check out everybody, and he did. He said his first order of business after the season will be to completely evaluate his football team from top to bottom, then get ready for plan B and evaluate everybody that's not protected on the 37-man roster. February 1 is the date for that. Then February 7, the scouting combine. They look at the collegiates in Indianapolis. Other than that, he won't be busy. Here is Bernie Kosar rolling out, and Bernie gets out of bounds with 5 seconds left, so the Browns have time for one more play.
One more Hail Mary. About the only people who don't like Bill Belichick in Cleveland is the press. He tells them nothing. He is not interested in sitting down and going into long-winded conversations with the press, and the press don't like it.
Well, he grew up around the Naval Academy, where you're taught to protect against espionage. His dad, a 29-year coach in the Naval Academy football program. Here's Bernie on the run. This will do it for halftime. Bernie runs it down to the 36-yard line, so not a whole lot happened in a rather long first half as the Browns and the Steelers go to the locker room tied 3-3. Anderson hit first for the Steelers. Stover came back for the Browns. 3-3 are the numbers. The NFL Live halftime report is coming up after this from your local station. The halftime score, as it was a game that took a long time to complete 2 quarters of play. Not a lot happened, though, just the 2 field goals. A tie game. A field goal separated these 2 teams the last time they played. Look at these halftime Coors Light numbers, Trump.
Yeah, Don, I think the telling numbers there, just 28 yards passing for Pittsburgh. Bubby Brister, a bad first half, completed just 3 passes. Time of possession clearly in favor of the Cleveland Browns, even though it's a 3-3 tie.
Here's the kickoff. A squibber hit downfield, tough to field. Rod Woodson picks it up, tries to turn upfield, and the Browns with good special teams play. And now a penalty marker in after the tackle. Coming down to make the play for the Cleveland Browns. First guy down looked to be number 42, Latin Berry. Odie Harris. Harris was also on the play, number 38. The referee, Pat Haggerty, has an injured Brown is attended to. We talked at the outset about the importance of this game. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy, and respect being a very important aspect. Webster Slaughter saying it's always important when the Browns play the Steelers. But so far in the first half, Trump, people playing hard, not a lot of turnovers, just the one fumble by Cleveland, but nothing much on the board, not much offense.
Don, I can't emphasize enough, in the last game of the football season with no playoffs at stake, nothing at stake except your own self-pride, it is very, very difficult to maintain that attitude that you have in the middle of the regular season. You know, you're angry at your opponent, you're playing hard football. It just slips away so quickly in the last game of the season, and I think that's one of the reasons we're seeing all the penalties.
And of course, it's a game where coaches evaluate every player on the field. Somebody said today, John Jackson, one of the Pittsburgh Steelers tackles, he really thinks that Chuck Noll is waiting to see how hard everybody plays for him right through the 16 games. And there's going to be decisions made on a lot of players today, even if there is no coaching change, and that seems to be a widely held belief, but no one knows for sure, as Lattenberry, who made the tackle, is taken off the field. The ball position way back now as the Steelers go on offense, and they start the second half the way they started the first on their first possession, running the ball right at Cleveland. That was Tim Worley who ran the ball. Report from the Steelers sideline, linebacker Brian Hinkle has a concussion and probably will not return to the game. You saw Worley come sprinting off the field. He's carried the ball for a 7-yard carry average. Cleveland shuts down the run very quickly as the Steelers try to trap block the Browns, but they're ready for it, and Brandon filled quickly. Warren Williams was the ball carrier.
Well, I see Tim Worley going on and off the field a great deal. I think in the last half of the last game of 1991, I'd want to see an awful lot of Tim Worley. Leroy Thompson comes in. Worley is standing on the sideline. Pittsburgh, part of their problems today, 0 for 6 on third down conversions. Not good. But I'd want to find out all I could about Tim Worley for next year today.
So far in limited carries, he's been very productive. 7 yards of pop on 6 carries. Brister fires, makes the connection, and then the ball is separated from the receiver. Is it a live ball?
Merrill Hodge on the reception. What a hammer by Eric Turner. I think they're ruling it an incomplete pass, but man, was that a hit.
Eric Turner, a knockout tackler. Watch this pop by 29.
And you'll see the whole thing. Ball. Second foot didn't come down, incomplete pass. Good call by the officials. And Merrill Hodge is saying, oh, man, don't run that pattern again. Please.
So Eric Turner forces an incomplete pass, and now Dan Straczynski of the Steelers stands in his end zone. Here's a big rush. He hits a high punt. Very well done by Straczynski. Slaughter back to his 43. He makes the turn and gets upfield across the 50-yard line and down to the 45-yard line of the Steelers. A 47-yard punt by Straczynski, an 8-yard return by Slaughter. Guys starting up after the play. And we'll remind you that NBC Sports presents 2 classic NBA confrontations on Christmas Day at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. The battle for Los Angeles is James Worthy, and the Lakers take on their crosstown rivals, the L.A. Clippers. Then at 9 p.m., it's Larry Bird versus Michael Jordan as the Celtics go against the Bulls at Chicago Stadium. A shootout with the world champion Chicago Bulls. An NBA doubleheader on NBC Christmas Day. Coverage begins with NBA Showtime with Bob Costas and Quinn Buckner.
I think we've got a penalty here on the sideline, Don. Probably unsportsmanlike conduct against both teams.
Yeah.
That's Shelton, Richard Shelton, with Webster Slaughter. I'm guessing words are exchanged, not phone numbers. That was pretty weak. And they called called a flag on Webster. Slaughter. It's going against Cleveland, I guess, for sticking the football in Richard Shelton's face. Pittsburgh, by the way, has some injury problems now. Hinkle has a concussion. He's questionable for the second half. And David Johnson has an Achilles problem. He's questionable for the second half, too.
Here come the Browns on offense. They hope to get some points before the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter has not been kind to them. They failed to score at all in the fourth quarter in 10 of their 15 games. And in their last 8 games, they scored a total of 7 points in the fourth quarter. Right now, we're tied, and the Steelers are there to stop the run. Joe Morris running hard. This is a guy who weighs 195 pounds and bench pressed 425 pounds when he's with the Giants. Superhuman strength.
Keith Willis was the man in the tackle. Joe Morris along with Kevin Mack, Leroy Horde, very, very strong, but they're all fullbacks. This team really doesn't have a running back. I'm not even sure you'd consider Lee Rousson a running back. They're all fullbacks.
Kozar now sets up with a 2nd down and 9 count, facing him from his 41. He gets a little time and then gets off an errant throw that skips in on the 1 hop. Gerald Williams putting the heat on.
And speaking of Gerald Williams, not a bad first half. He had
3 sacks.
3 sacks.
Keith Willis, you saw, number 93, the left end of the Steelers. He made an announcement to his team, a veteran, giving an inspirational talk. He said, listen, we've got a 2-game season coming up against 2 of our biggest rivals, the Bengals and the Browns. Let's win them both. They won last week 17-10. Now they're tied up 3-3. Neither team very successful on 3rd down today. The Browns are 0 for 4, and now they have 3rd down and 9. Whoa! What a play. Interception. Richard Shelton.
The guy who replaced David Johnson.
From the World League of American Football. Somebody sent me about 8 pages on his career there.
Yeah. This is reviewable, though. Anything on the sideline, very difficult for the officials to watch. Control of the football and both feet down. We should have a good picture of it here. Off Slaughter's hands. No control yet.
He's got
control now.
There.
I think
That's an interception.
I think so. Although, did you see the official? The first indication from the official, he crosses his arms like he's going to say, no, that's an incomplete pass.
Beautifully done by Richard Shelton.
Yeah, that's an interception. That is a great interception.
And it gives the Steelers their first possession of the second half with good field position. They'll start outside their 48-yard line.
That's his first interception of the season, and that was a pretty one. Again, watch that. When he's got control is now, and the second foot comes down. Beautifully done. Now watch the official. See, he's going to go incomplete, and then he changes his mind.
Browns dig in with a 5-man front. Brister looks to throw on 1st down. Looks to buy time with the scramble. Dumps it off. Wide open was Merrill Hodge, and Brister overthrows it.
And Louis Lips was wide open. He had his arms up in the air. Come on, throw me the ball. Louis Lips was wide open. He was just a little bit deeper than Merrill Hodge. Bubby 3 of 16, just 28 yards on the day. Look at Lips.
Take your pick. They're both wide open. Nobody covering either. The contract impasse of Bubby Brister, a continuing story here in Pittsburgh. He was set to sign a $2 million a season contract, got hurt in the Giants game, and now he'll end the season in his final year of his contract. He's not sure where he stands. Here is a handoff on 2nd down and 10, and the Steelers with Merrill Hodge weaving his way gets ahead for a gain of 9 yards on the play. 3rd down and about 1. Clay Matthews was on the stop along with safety Vince Newsom. Bubby said he's going to meet tomorrow with Dan Rooney, the president of the Steelers, and with Tom Donahoe, the head of player personnel, at 9 a.m. Find out where the contract stands. When that meeting's over, he's heading to Louisiana for Christmas.
He's wasting no time, right? He
out of here.
Wants to know how much he can spend on Christmas.
He wants to be a Steeler.
Look at this. Nobody's converted a third down.
An 0 for day on third down. Third and about a yard, a bit more. Brister's going to throw. Out pattern. Dwight Stone dives at the ball and makes the play. So Stone, who's had some problem with drops, makes a diving reception for a Steeler first down.
Frank Minifield awful soft in coverage there. Really allowed a big push in there for Stoney to make that catch.
Let's check the Hertz 10-minute ticker. The Jets have gone in front of the Dolphins in that battle for an AFC wildcard playoff spot. Bills continue to lead Detroit. Atlanta edging closer at Dallas. Cincinnati in command of the Patriots. Tampa Bay has come back with 14 straight points to lead the Colts. And here it stands 3-3. Third quarter clock ticking down. Brister stands in. Tip ball could be picked. They can't quite get to it. Brandon had a play on it. Sagapolitelli was the man who tipped it. They were looking at Jeff Graham downfield, and now Brister signals something in. He gets a formation call.
That's Rick Strom on the sideline who signals a lot of stuff. There's a lot of communication needed in this Joe Walton offense. Formation. Some of the plays are very wordy, very complicated.
See how complicated this is for the Steelers as they go second down and 10 and to the run. Worley turns it upfield. Slams down a would-be tackler and goes out of bounds. Again, a good gain by Worley. Every time he runs it, he's gotten one.
We got a Steeler on the ground, too. That's that sweep. Utilize his speed. That's Hasselrig, the guard. Well, since the trainers are out on the field now, Hasselrig is going to have to leave for at least one play. Worley's numbers here: 7 carries, 48 yards.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Acura Automobiles. Experience precision-crafted performance. By Reebok, who reminds you that life is short. Play hard. By extra-strength Tylenol gel caps. For everyday pain, nothing works better. And by AT&T, the right choice.
Santa's here checking out those Steeler fans. Checking on their deportment, see who gets what. Neil O'Donnell got the starting job for 7 weeks when Bubby Brister went down and did very well, as you see by his numbers. The second-year quarterback, that's Neil on the right from Maryland. Now the Steelers have the ball. They're in the shotgun with a 3rd down and 4 play coming up. Brister gets a little time, makes a throw, and drops the ball at the 27.
Boy, he's had 2 drops today. This is a guy who is very tough on himself. You see him in motion behind the line of scrimmage there. He tries to get lost in all the shuffle.
Right there.
Yeah, that's Louis Lips is normally a very sure-handed receiver as Anderson comes onto the field for another field goal attempt.
51-yarder. He has plenty of leg. You'll recall a 44-yarder. The first scoring try of the game was wide. Dan Straczynski is his holder. Snap and set down are good, and the Browns block it. Free ball, and the Browns pick it up. And they'll take over at about their 30-yard line. Anderson's kick was right into the line of scrimmage.
Don, as we look at this again, he is standing right on the second base insert where the Pirates play baseball. And those inserts are very, very slick. See where the ball is placed?
Right. That was the same problem last week.
Yep. And he slips right down it. That ball had no chance whatsoever. And so the Cleveland Browns take over. He had no chance at all. Those inserts are very difficult to kick off of.
.51 to go, third quarter. Gary Anderson slipping on a long field goal attempt. Ball blocked by the Browns, and now Cleveland takes over again in this 3-3 tie. Kozar's been throwing a lot on first down and does again. Out pattern to Leroy Horde, who eludes one tackler and then gets ahead for a gain of close to 7 yards on the play. Gerald Williams finally got him down.
On word from the Browns bench, Kevin Mack has a bruised knee. Word is at the outset of the second half here, he will not return. So we're down to 2 running backs for Cleveland, Horde and Joe Morris, although Lee Rousson can be used, but he's primarily a blocker.
Now the Browns set up with 2 wide receivers left, 2 tight ends in the game. Joe Morris turns it up and breaks it. A first down run by Joe Morris for the Browns, and a marker down also at the line of scrimmage.
Very late flag too, Don. Very late.
Richard Shelton, who had that spectacular interception, is the man who makes the play on Morris.
Nice lead block by Leroy Horde, 33. You saw Greg Lloyd jump inside. He may be holding on Webster Slaughter. Let's see if it's on 84. He had a hold of the cornerback out there.
The Browns lamenting all those close losses this season.
Number 84.
It is indeed Webster Slaughter called for the hold. Browns losing 6 games by a total of 17 points. They 2 losses to the Oilers by 4 points, then by 3 last week. Lost to the Eagles by 2, to Cincinnati by 2, to the Giants by 3, to the Jets by 3. They've been tough on Bill Belichick. They've been very close to a very big year.
And you know what he said? He said, last year when I was with the Giants, we had the same thing on the winning end of those scores. That's the difference in the NFL. You win with experience. You win the close games.
Handoff goes to Horde, and he breaks into the Steelers' secondary. Ball on the field. Steelers might have it. They do. At the 41-yard line of Cleveland.
Woodson, I think, comes up with it, Don.
He wants to show it to Michael Jackson. Rod Woodson, like a dog on a pork chop, wasn't there for about a split second.
Well, this starts out to be a very good-looking play. And it looks like Shelton, 24, is the guy who gets his hat in there. And the ball is already on the ground, and Woodson comes up with the recovery. So, again, Pittsburgh with outstanding field position.
And the Browns, the best in the giveaway takeaway ratio at turnovers, have turned it over twice today now. They've not fumbled in 7 games. They've fumbled twice today. This time, Hodge makes the catch, and he's down to the 32-yard line.
Flag thrown. Boy, they're calling it awful tight here. Hilliard makes the tackle. It looked to me like it was the momentum of both players. But the flag is thrown for a hit out of bounds. Personal foul against Cleveland. This is a very, very close call.
It is indeed. He keeps wrestling him on the white and then takes him down.
Yeah, I think the momentum of both players kind of produced that, as opposed to something blatant out of bounds, Don. But that's now the 8th penalty, I believe, on Cleveland today. That's the 8th penalty on Cleveland.
They've had a lot. 8 it is. Now the ball is positioned at the 17-yard line. Belichick looking to get his troops together. The defense backed up. All the Steelers have been able to muster so far is a first quarter field goal. And the game remains tied in the 3rd quarter, 3-3. Worley. The big back from Georgia with that great ability to accelerate when he turns it upfield, and he's down inside the 15-yard line. Worley continues to get 7 yards every time he runs it.
Yeah, it looks like they stopped him on that play. He does pick up 5 or 6.
Where they're going to mark it, it'll be about 6 yards. As we take a quick look at the Hertz 10-minute ticker.
Atlanta now ahead of Dallas. They win. They're the NFC Western Division champion.
They are. .54 yards on just 8 carries for Tim Worley.
Same play, Don. Same play. Nope.
Hodge. He does well taking on tacklers, trying to get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's just about where he got. It's going to bring up 3rd down and about 5 where the ball is positioned. Tackler on the play was Vince Newsom.
They should have run the same play. Worley far side sweep. This time I think they kind of tricked themselves. They gave it to Hodge going to short side. Didn't work. Well, if this kid can mature a lot in the next 6 months, they got a money back.
Coming to this game, Worley had only 6 carries all season. They were last week. Third down, and the Steelers need over 5.
7 defensive backs for Cleveland.
High throw, and the catch is made down at the 6-yard line.
Randy Hilliard on the coverage and the tackle.
And Mike.
Very, very good coverage, and Stone still makes the catch, and a fine throw by Bubby Brister, too. This is a simple out pattern run by Dwight Stone. That's good coverage. Stone makes a heck of an effort to catch that football for a first down. First and goal now for Pittsburgh. And this ought to be Worley's spot, Don. He's in the ball game. Sweep right.
Power eye set for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Game tied 3-3. And markers go down again on this poorly played football game.
Yeah, Tunchilkin.
Raining down on both teams.
Tunchilkin broke out of his stance. 62 black.
Ball start. Number 62. Offense before the snap.
Tunchilkin was a unlikely starter because he was troubled with a concussion suffered last week.
I think it's pretty easy to pick up here. Just outside the upright. You see him come up out of his stance. So again, Pittsburgh down here in scoring range and not getting much out of it. You can see Bubby Brister there motioning the personnel. Pittsburgh has had a lot of trouble down here inside the 20.
So second down now comes up for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Second down and goal from the 11-yard line. Both these teams have lost their way when they get down close. They go to the draw, and Merrill Hodge runs it down inside the 10-yard line.
Well, you know, Pittsburgh comes right down the field here. They move the ball beautifully, and then suddenly things just go awry. I don't know what the scoop is here. This historically has been a very good football team inside the 20-yard line, but in the last couple of years, and certainly not this year, they have not had much success.
Ball positioned inside the 8-yard line. Steelers have converted only 2 of 10 previous third down tries. This is a 3rd and 7, 3rd and goal from the 7.
Blitz.
Brister with a swing pass off target. He was looking at Leroy Thompson, number 34. So an inept Steeler offense comes back off the field, gets a big chance in its defense again, and does nothing with it. Anderson will try for 3.
No matter who's the head coach after tomorrow, when this season is over, there's going to be a lot of looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers inside the 20. I mean, here they're going sideways again, out to the outlet receiver, Leroy Thompson. That's thrown behind him. Newsome in coverage, no chance.
Anderson having a bad day, tries again. The bad day continues.
Yeah, you know what happened? He kicked again from another one of the inserts. I think the last field goal that he missed affected this field goal, Don.
This isn't bad. This is embarrassing for the Steelers.
And this time he's kicking from the pitching mound, and again it's an insert.
1 for 4. They've had their chances, but the Browns hang in. Gary Anderson, who throughout his career with the Pittsburgh Steelers has been one of the best in NFL history, having a tough day today. 1 for 4 on field goal tries. His last an in close miss. The game remains tied as the Browns struggle to move the ball out with the run. David Little comes up to make the hit on Leroy Horde of Cleveland.
Don, as we look at the field goal attempt again, he is standing at the pitcher's mound insert. The ball is placed on the hard AstroTurf, and he just hooks it again. The snap was not bad. You can see the holder, Straczynski, does a pretty good job, but it hits the left upright, bounces away. That's an automatic touchback, comes out to the 20. I don't know what Cleveland's doing trying to catch the ball, but 1 for 4. Not one of Gary Anderson's better days.
Steelers doing a good job not turning the ball over. Cleveland on offense has turned it over twice. Here is a throw to Webster Slaughter. And he is out to the 30-yard line, out to the 31. He has a first down for the Browns. The Steelers have turned the ball over 9 times in their last 2 games, including 5 times last week in a win over Cincinnati. And the Browns the best in the NFL at not turning the ball over, with 2 fumbles today after going 6 full games without fumbling the ball.
Well, the way this game is going, no matter who wins, they're going to leave here or end the season with a very sour taste in their mouth. Neither team has played as both coaches expected them.
It's been a lot of good defensive play, but the offenses, as the handoff goes to Joe Morris, and he's taken down at the 31. Now let's go to New York to NFL Live. Bob?
Don, an item here from the NBA and the police blotter. The 76ers' Charles Barkley was arrested following an altercation in which he allegedly broke a man's nose early this morning in Milwaukee. The incident is said to have taken place at 2:30 a.m., several hours after the Sixers lost to the Bucks. Barkley was arrested at his hotel at about 7 this morning. He made bail of $500, and it's expected he'll be charged with battery. Back to Don Criqui.
Thank you, Bob. No broken noses passed out here today, but there's been a lot of hits and some injured troops as Bernie Kosar drops to sidearms the ball. Nicely done by Slaughter, who had to go way up. Then he took the full hit from Richard Shelton, came down with the ball.
Actually, very lucky reception there. Slaughter did not come back with the football. Shelton was closing fast.
Chaz Barkley out there creating havoc.
He's had some problems here of late, hasn't he?
74, Los Angeles.
Kosar looking for ways to penetrate the Steeler defense. It's not giving up a lot of yards today. Big plays have been few and far between. Joe Morris on 3rd and less than 1 runs it, and he didn't get there where the linesman comes in. He needed to get across the 40, and the linesman's coming in Trump right at the 40.
Yeah, Don, I don't think Cleveland has converted a 3rd down yet today. That's unbelievable.
Has anybody?
Yeah,
Steelers have 2, I guess.
2 of 10. Marty Nickerson does a nice job here stopping the play. If you're Belichick, do you go for it?
I don't know. With 1:41 to go in the 3rd quarter, I think you might play percentages.
He's sending out the punter. He doesn't have a lot of confidence in this team running today. They're 0 for 6 in 3rd down conversions.
Brown's a young team. There are 27 new players since Belichick took over on the 47-man roster. 12 new starters.
They're going to measure here to be official.
Brian Hansen ready to punt the ball. Temperature dropping somewhat. Could be into the high 30s now as Rod Woodson is back to return the punt.
You got a trick play here on your punt?
They have some, whether or not they use it.
I know Belichick was to be known as a very conservative, run the ball, stop the run coach, but this is a nice time. Clay Matthews is the up back. This is a nice time to pull some trick, as long as he doesn't lateral the ball.
Hansen steps in, hits the ball downfield. Woodson takes a look at it. Rod Woodson across the 30-yard line out to the 31. A 40-yard punt and a 10-yard return by the best in the American Conference. And the Steelers go on offense when we come back. Steeler fans in their dress array.
Fans may be better than this game.
Here's the handoff to Tim Worley by Brister on a first down carry. Worley again responds with plus yardage as he's out to the 35-yard line.
One of the things I don't like is you see a lot of these Pittsburgh Steelers football players get up. First thing they do is look to the bench. Am I in the next play? Am I out the next play? They never know who's going to be in there.
Very good point. There isn't a lot of continuity in personnel. New people keep coming in, as both teams have sputtered with a lot of motion penalties, jumping off sides. It has been a game marred by penalties, but it has been tight as you can get. Tied up 3-3 as we're down inside a half minute to go in the third quarter. Brister better get rid of it. Another errant throw by Bubby Brister.
Interesting call. Roll right, screen left. You got one running back leading the other one. Bubby now 6 of 24, 48 yards. Watch the two running backs. Worley is leading for Hodge. Michael Dean Perry all over the quarterback, and it's thrown behind him. They're screaming at Bubby, but what's going on here?
6 of 24 for 48 yards. Those are not numbers you bring to the bargaining table tomorrow.
No.
Third down throw, a nice one it is. Here's Dwight Stone running in the open field. A great open field block by Lewis Lips. And Dwight Stone will go the distance. And finally, the Steelers hit the big play. No markers down. And Bubby Brister connects with Stone on a 65-yard scoring play. Dang. Nothing happens. Something big then happens.
Yeah, simple little slant. And Dwight Stone, who was the fastest Pittsburgh Steeler, is only the right guy to have the ball in his hands.
I tell you, it was a nice block by Lips, too.
On Turner, 29.
Bubby follows his worst throw with his best. Anderson now will try the point after. He's been troubled all day long, but he does drill this one up and through, and the Steelers open up a 10-3 lead, which, the way this game has gone, Trump, is huge.
Watch the slant pattern. Stone comes in motion, goes up the field. Bubby puts it right on the numbers, and then it's a foot race. Watch Turner, 29. Lewis Lips comes in and makes that nice block. That's the last guy who can possibly stop Dwight Stone. Simple little pass, not designed to go the distance, but it certainly does. Lips stays in the play. Excellent job. And he's only completed 7 passes today, 1 for a touchdown. He likes it. That's Joe Green he's hugging.
Joe could put that knockout hug on you. So Brister hits the big throw, and Dwight Stone on the fly takes it, gets a big block from Lewis Lips, and the Steelers complete a 65-yard scoring play, and they take a 10-3 lead. The first points for the Steelers since the first quarter. We'll see what Bernie Kosar, the Browns, elects to do. Will he come out pitching, looking to throw deep?
Yeah, we've not seen him in the hurry-up offense yet today, you know? Drilling 10-3, maybe we'll see it.
Anderson hits a long ball downfield, and for the third time, Joe Morris is forced into downing the ball for a touchback. It's a doubleheader day on NBC Sports, and coming up next on most of these stations, the matchup between the Chiefs and the Raiders in the Coliseum in Los Angeles. They're playing for home field in a wild card game next weekend. If the Chiefs win it, they'll be at home at Arrowhead for the first playoff game in Kansas City in 20 years, since the NFL's longest game. They were beaten by the Miami Dolphins on Christmas Day in 1971. If the Raiders win today, it'll be the same story. Kansas City at LA Raiders next weekend in a wild card game.
How would you like to be the two coaches, the offensive and defensive coordinator? What do you show this week that you don't show for next week? How do you coach those two teams today?
It'll probably be close. Marinovich is going to start, the young quarterback from Southern California. Another stretch reception made by Webster Slaughter. And that'll do it for the first quarter, a third quarter of play. As after 3 complete quarters, it is the Steelers 10 and the Browns 3. We'll be back after this from your local station. 10-3 Steelers over the Browns. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. One thing about the final game of the season, for better or worse, winner and loser take it with them through the whole off season. And it would be a big building block for the Steelers if they do close with 2 straight wins.
Well, there's another plus, too. If you're a player, no matter what the final score is tomorrow, you don't have to watch this film. And this would not be fun to sit down and look at and have coaches examine on every single play as to who had a plus and who had a minus. This has not been pretty.
But not over yet as we go to the 4th quarter, and Kosar comes out throwing deep. Michael Jackson is out there, and the ball is tipped away. Richard Shelton doing some good things today for the Steelers, and a penalty marker down Trump. And Gerald Williams, nose tackle for the Steelers, thinks it's against the Browns. So does Lloyd.
It's holding. Yeah, Pat Haggerty and his crew have been the stars of this show. Other than the reception by Dwight Stone, we've seen Pat Haggerty the most today. He's played a good game.
This has not been a game that's kept people on the edge of their seats. But over the 84 times the Steelers and the Browns have played, this has been one of the great rivalries in the National Football League. I don't know how many times we've done it, but invariably, 90% of the time, it's a great football game. It was earlier this year at Cleveland when the Browns built a 17-7 lead and then held on to beat the Steelers 17-14.
And that was Cleveland's 9th penalty of the day.
Now Cleveland forced to come back. Down by 7. Kosar against a big rush throws. It's incomplete. And right now the Steelers are getting a big rush. Donald Evans, number 66, the right end, got to Bernie just as he released the ball. Knocked him down.
Watch the stunt up front. You see Evans go inside. Gerald Williams, 98, go outside. Cleveland has not done a good job of picking up those stunts all day today. And again, now Cleveland faced with a 3rd down. They have yet to convert one. 0 for 6.
One of the very good points for Cleveland, the fact that Bernie's gone through the year healthy. He was really trouble with a bad elbow last year, and Bernie's healthy. The numbers are there. The number 2 passer in the American Conference behind Jim Kelly. Browns had a very good draft. Actually have had them the last 2 years. They get another one, they'll be right there. Here's Bernie on the run as only he can, and downfield he throws, and it's broken up. As 2 Steeler defenders converge on the ball. Richard Shelton was in on the play along with Sean Vincent.
Webster Slaughter is down. Looked like he got his arm caught between 2 defenders, but Bernie's not had a lot of time to throw the ball. He has been pressured all day long, Don. Looking at his elbow, it looks like.
He's had a good day. Webster Slaughter has caught 8 for 95 yards.
You can see that this is really make it up on the sideline. And there's 2 defenders, and Webster Slaughter sticks his arm out there. May have landed on it funny, but the minute he hits the turf, boy, he's in pain.
Slaughter with 61 catches for the season, 3 for touchdowns. 2 years ago, he had his finest season. Caught 65 for 1,200 yards. 19 a catch. Was an all-pro player.
He, by the way, has a contract that ends this year, so he must negotiate for next year. He's one of the few Cleveland Browns that they don't have signed up and ready to go for next year.
And a standout saxophonist is Webster Slaughter. That doesn't help right now as Brian Hansen's in to punt for the Browns. End-over-end punt. Woodson comes up on it. Almost ran into his own guy, and Woodson, living dangerously, dodges a bullet and comes downfield for a 3-yard return.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the trucks you can depend on, the trucks that last. By Braun Electric Shavers. It is through superior design that superior performance can be achieved. By Head & Shoulders, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light.
Steelers start this drive at their 47-yard line with 14:33 to play in the game. They lead it 10-3. The last possession, the last throw by Brister, a 65-yard connection with Dwight Stone for the go-ahead touchdown. Here's Worley. Every time this guy gets big yards, if not big, certainly very noticeable plus yards.
Yeah, I mean, they stop him and he still picks up 5 yards. He gets to the line of scrimmage so quickly, Don.
Jets got a field goal from a leg ray on this Budweiser 10-minute ticker, and they lead the Dolphins with just over 3 minutes to play. Detroit on an interception return leads the Bills. Dallas up on Atlanta in a shootout at Texas Stadium. Lesser clubs on the second panel, lesser this season. Good times to come. Worley's run the ball 10 times now for 61 yards. Takes the big hit there. Tim Worley running straight ahead in the middle. Linebacker Richard Brown, number 52.
Eric Turner also up there from his safety spot to make the tackle. And again, he looks to the sideline, and he's removed from the game. Louis Lips comes in as a receiver. This has got to be somebody's project here in Pittsburgh. This kid right here. I don't know if you chain him to the goalpost.
Oh, he's living right. Mom's come up from Georgia, doing that good cooking. He said he did gain 10 pounds in his absence from the team. But back and looking good is Tim Worley all day long, and now the Steelers have third down, and they need a long 3 for the first down. Brister not wanting to turn it over, yet needing to get the yardage. Bubby swings it out. Merrill Hodge drops the ball. That time, Brister was right on target, but Hodge couldn't hold it.
Yeah, but you know, when you're running like that and you're so close to the receiver, the quarterback just kind of shot puts it to the receiver, has no rotation on it. It's a very difficult pass to catch. Now, Bubby does a good job of avoiding the rusher. He's got all kinds of time. And now watch the way he kind of shot puts this thing out here. See, very little rotation on it.
Well, if you can't catch that, I mean.
That's a tough catch, though, Don. I'm not kidding you.
It dropped on him a little. Huh?
Yeah, the thing just dives into the ground because it's not spinning.
Straczynski continues to punt well. He forces a fair catch signal, and the ball hops down to the 9-yard line where the Steelers down it. Dwight Stone, the last time he had his hands on the ball was in the end zone. Here he downs a punt. Next Sunday, join NBC Sports for an AFC wildcard game. Coverage begins next Sunday at a time still to be announced. It'll be preceded, of course, by NFL Live. Game time. A do-or-die winner advancing to the divisional playoffs in that wildcard game next Sunday. As the Cleveland Browns go to the run and David Little makes the stop on Joe Morris. The wildcard game will be one of 2 possibilities. Actually, they're a little bit more complex than that. It'll definitely be the Chiefs versus the Raiders in one AFC wild card game next weekend. And in the other, the Jets, who currently lead the Dolphins, will be at Denver or Houston if the Jets win. If the Dolphins win, they will be at Denver or Houston.
Now, we just had the biggest cheer of the day for a picture Christmas card from Chuck and Marianne Knoll and a standing ovation from the people here in Three River Stadium.
Yeah, they put Chuck and his wife Marianne on the scoreboard with season's greetings. People stood and cheered. Here's an out pattern. Joe Morris sprints down the sideline. He still has that burst, and David Little hits him and knocks him out of bounds at about the 22-yard line.
That's a first down pickup. There's Chuck Knoll on the sideline. His defense has done an excellent job. You know, Cleveland has not been able to throw the ball down the field. His picture now on the big diamond vision. Well, they want to cheer for him.
Kosar on first down takes a look at the out, throws it over the middle. Joe Morris takes on tacklers. 3 big guys come and hit him, led by Little and Nickerson. And the gain is ahead for a gain about 6 yards.
See, again, though, down outlet receiver, Joe Morris. Primary receiver is well covered by the Pittsburgh defense today. And Dave Brazil has done an excellent job of calling the blitz at the right time. Pressured Bernie Kosar. Good performance by the defense of Pittsburgh.
Browns needing a touchdown and an extra point just to tie this game. Both these teams coming in with 6-9 records. A 6-9 mark, a disappointment for the Steelers, who expected big things. A significant improvement for the Browns, who won just 3 games last year. Gerald Williams makes the tackle as the pass coverage is deep zone all over the field. Now marker comes in, so Kozar tries to loosen up the Steeler defense, I think, here, Trump, running Joe Morris.
Number 57, defense.
All on the Steelers.
That's Gerald Williams' unsportsmanlike conduct after the play. So it's 15 yards added onto it.
8 sacks for the season for Gerald Williams, 3 of them today.
There's 57 on Scott Galbraith. Let's see what happens here. Push and a shove, hand to the face, 15 yards. They always get the other guy. Sometimes football players play like there are no officials out there, you know? And then they're surprised. What? Me? No. He did. What? No. Come on.
The good news for Williams, he doesn't have to come off the field and face Coach Noel, at least not for a bit. They need him out there now and try to stem the tide as the Browns continue to move the ball. This time beneficiaries of penalty yardage, and Bernie sees nothing and throws it away.
Again, great pressure. Keith Willis, Gerald Williams right in there in Bernie's face. Has not had much time to really sit and look at receivers. See the game they run up front? Well, I said it was Donald Evans. It was not 98. It was 66, and Keith Willis came from the other side. But consistent pressure throughout the day for Pittsburgh's front three.
Game clock with a lot of time left. 10:15 to play. Steelers lead the Browns 10-3. Second down and 10 now for Kozar and the Browns at their 47-yard line. Screen. Morris has it. He's got yards as he's down to the 45-yard line. He gets out of bounds there with 10:06 to go in the game. Gerald Williams was the tackler for Pittsburgh.
And Williams did a pretty good job there. There were 3 guys out in front of Joe Morris and only 1 defender, and the defender makes the play. Gerald Williams. Watch what happens here, Don. Cleveland does an excellent job of getting 3 linemen out there. Babb, Ed King. Watch Williams. And he fights off that block and makes the tackle, and here comes another 3rd down attempt by the Cleveland Browns.
3rd down, and they need 2. The Browns 0 for 7 on 3rd downs. Out pattern a pick. It'll go the distance. Richard Shelton, who's having a big day, has his biggest moment as he takes it back in with no penalty markers down. And the Steelers blow open the game with 9:28 to play on a 56-yard interception return for a touchdown.
Yeah, he replaced David Johnson, who went out of the game in the first half with an Achilles problem, and Richard Shelton has had a big day. For Bernie Kosar, he hasn't thrown many this season. That's just his 7th interception in 16 games.
Bernie did not throw any interceptions in his first 9 games this season. He's now thrown 7 in his last 7 games. Extra point. Good job by the holder, Straczynski, as Anderson drills it up and through. And the Steelers now take command 17-3. Richard Shelton with a 57-yard return of an interception. And the Cleveland Browns now find themselves down 17-3 to Pittsburgh. Anderson ready to kick it off. The Browns, who have beaten the Steelers 9 of the last 11 meetings, are in deep trouble now as the kickoff comes downfield. Taken back by Lee Roussan as he crosses the 15-yard line and is thrown back. Olszewski on the tackle.
Watch this pump by Bernie Kosar. He doesn't make many mistakes, but this is well read by Richard Shelton. He takes a chance. Horde is the intended receiver, and it's style points on this 57-yard interception return for a touchdown. Out of Liberty. He falls into the end zone. Yes, sir.
That's it. He'll make the 11 o'clock news, although he won't make Chuck Noll's list of great things you did this season. The interception return war. It was that final yard.
See that 8th interception today.
Bernie comes up firing, gets it out to Webster Slaughter, who's thrown down. Let's take a look at the Budweiser 10-minute ticker. They're coming down to the wire And Miami has gone in front 20-17 over the Jets. Late in that game, Bills have tied up Detroit. They could be going to OT.
Miami Jets winner plays next week. Loser goes home.
The Jets win, they'll be 8-8. With coming off 3 straight losses. Kosar stands in, delivers hard, and the ball is broken up. The Browns and their fans all remember vividly the Cleveland Browns going 0 for 3 Rivers. Their first 16 trips to this stadium, they were beaten. They came every different way. They came by bus. Art Modell would change their travel plans. They'd come by train. They'd come by plane. Kevin Bird said they were finally in such bad shape they were looking for a new way to come to change their luck. They were going to fly to Cincinnati and take a boat up. They never did.
Whatever it was, it didn't work, did it, for a long time?
But they've had success in the recent years. Not today, as Kosar throws. Joe Morris catches it underneath the zone, and he's out to the 35-yard line. Tackled by David Little.
Again, outlet receiver. That last reception they tried to get to the tight end Scott Galbraith. Excellent coverage by Greg Lloyd, an outlet receiver. Cleveland's had great difficulty getting it to the primary receiver today.
Miami went ahead on a Dan Marino to Farrell Edmonds touchdown pass a yard out with just 34 seconds to play. David Little makes the tackle.
That is the first third down that Cleveland has converted today. There is 7:48 to go in the game.
Our producer today for NBC Sports is Victor Frank. Our director, Richard Klein. Executive producer of NBC Sports, Terry O'Neill. Coordinating producer of NFL football, John Faraxis, as Scott Brelbreth makes the catch and works his way all the way down to the 28-yard line. So the Browns come up with a big play, but they need many more.
And what a catch. That was a one-hander. Gary Jones was the man in coverage, 34 yards on the reception. Well caught by Scott Galbraith.
The fourth quarter has not been friendly to the Cleveland Browns. As mentioned in their previous 15 games, they failed to score any points in the fourth quarter 10 times. They've scored none today. Here's a throw and a catch and a touchdown for Cleveland as Michael Jackson, the rookie, goes up high and comes down with the ball. His second touchdown catch. That for 27 yards. And the Browns are inching back into it. Still a lot of time to go. 6:56 to play.
27 yards on the catch. Must have been a broken coverage. No one was even close. Carnell Lake and Gary Jones were out there somewhere, but not even close. First defensive mistake I've seen Pittsburgh make today, Don.
Yeah, their defense has played very well. But Bernie catches him in an overmatch and hits the open man. And now Matt Stover's on the field to try to bring the Browns back to within 7. He does.
Boy, how big is that interception return for a touchdown now, huh?
The difference in the game right now.
You can see that Bernie's looking at Jackson all the way. Somebody blows the coverage. Carnell Lake 37 is underneath. Certainly appears like he was expecting help, but there was none there.
Cleveland Browns have beaten the Steelers 4 of the last 5 times here at Pittsburgh. And now the Steelers will look to run some clock and try to maintain possession of the ball. A lot of time left. Kosar moved his team quickly down the field to bring them within 7. Michael Jackson came to the Browns as a training camp sensation as a 4th-round draft choice out of Southern Mississippi.
Southern Mississippi, not known as a passing team. He only caught 25 passes in his entire college career.
The Pittsburgh Steelers got a good one out of Southern Mississippi.
Lewis Lips.
Lewis Lips, indeed. Stover with a line drive kickoff fielded by Gerald Williams. He used to be a running back in high school, a good fullback, and he gets out of bounds as he crosses the 35-yard line, and a penalty marker comes in late. It could be a personal foul against Cleveland.
They hit him off the field. We've had, is that the third one of those we've had today?
With no time left, Raul Alegre of the Jets has just hit a field goal to tie the game. They're going to overtime at Miami. Jets and Dolphins 2020.
Wow.
Alegre was just signed this week.
And you got to give it to the New York Jets going down to Miami, playing the Miami Dolphins on their home field after losing 2 straight football games. They're not going to go easy.
Invariably, that coin flip is big in overtime. More often than not, the team that wins it and gets possession to open overtime wins the game.
Well, let's see. Is Tim Worley on the field? I've really been in Tim Worley's corner today, haven't I?
And with good reason. Tim Worley is on the field, aligned with Merrill Hodge, who could be blocking for him. First down for the Steelers. They lead by 7 with 6:45 to play. Worley. Hodge blocks. Worley turns it. All day long, whenever they give it to him, Tim Worley gets the yard.
You know, the Steelers coaching staff, Chuck Noll and everybody included, got to be thinking, they look at Worley today, what if we had this kid all season long? What if we can keep him healthy? What if he goes through an entire training camp? What if this kid can realize his full potential? 12 carries, 72 yards, and they've been easy.
Like so many of the great ones, he has that ability to turn upfield and accelerate, and he's a tackle breaker at 235 pounds. Now Worley blocks. Merrill Hodge is run down. Worley blocking very well. He knocked the cornerback right off the field, but the play didn't develop that far as the Browns shut it down inside.
Yeah, I wonder why these running backs can't carry it on 2 successive plays. Is there some league rule that I'm not aware of that you can't carry the ball on 2 successive plays?
I don't know.
There he comes out of the game. Okay, fine.
All the great ones, the more they get it, the more they like it. This is a 25 carry a game man at Georgia.
All out of the eye back, too. He said 8 yards deep. Vince Dooley just gave it to him left and right.
Giants got a terrific back from Georgia from looking at the films of Worley. Hampton, who ran for 140 yards yesterday in the win over Houston. Steelers with 3rd down. They need 3.
Quarterback draw.
It'll be close. I don't know if they want to give the ball back.
I'll tell you what, he gets up holding his knee.
He's had problems. He was talking about his knee. Yesterday's been troubling him.
I'll tell you what, though, you have no idea watching this football team what offensive play is coming next. And here's Bubby Brister, who was out for a long time with a bad knee.
He has actually a ruptured ligament in his knee, but it's held up well. It's stiff, he said, when he was inactive for a long time, and he gets back into it.
Yeah, it's the cruciate ligament, torn in half. And they said they won't do anything surgically as O'Donnell warms up. Running the quarterback with 5:17 to go, 3rd down and 3 on a quarterback sweep. Okay. We are not talking about bread and butter here. Watch the guard and tackle pull. Funchilkin 62, 77 Hasselrig. Vince Newsom makes the contact, and it is heavy contact, and he immediately grabs his knee.
So while he's being attended to, Neil O'Donnell is warming up on the sideline. A very tough development for Brister, who is possibly en route to leading the Steelers to a 2nd straight victory since his return last week, when he threw for 2 touchdowns in the win over Cincinnati. Bobby was just talking to us about that yesterday. The ACL, they call it, the anterior cruciate ligament in the middle of the knee.
Well, from the looks of that, you know, he's going to meet with Mr. Rooney and Mr. Donahoe tomorrow. He may meet with them about his contract on crutches.
Well, hopefully he's going to be all right. He's getting around pretty good. It's good to see.
I got to tell you, though, when you have a torn anterior cruciate ligament in your knee, to the hierarchy of a football team, you're damaged goods. You know, that knee could go at any time. That injury, more than his lack of play this year, will cost him money on the eventual contract he signs.
So Neil O'Donnell, the second-year quarterback from Maryland, comes out on the field. He almost rallied the Pittsburgh Steelers to a win at Cleveland. He quarterbacked the first meeting this season on October 27th, as Bubby is looked at on the sideline. O'Donnell coming in with very good passing numbers, 55% completions, 11 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. The Steelers line up on 4th down and less than a yard. Hodge and Worley are the setbacks. Worley's the man. Doesn't look like he got there.
I don't think so either.
Excellent defense by the Cleveland Browns as they string it out, and for perhaps the first time today, they shut down Tim Worley with no gain.
Well, they sure did him a favor, though, running that play sideways as opposed to straight ahead.
And they were reading 38 all the way. They were looking for Worley to get the ball, and he did. This mark is all important as the set down is made. Game clock with 4:56 to play.
Everybody's trying to figure out, did we make it or not? Clearing everybody out here.
This 84th meeting of the Steelers and the Browns, in all probability, going right down to the final gun, as so many have previously, and the spot shows that the Browns take over the ball. So Bernie Kosar waiting for another chance. He had his team in the end zone the last possession, gets another chance, and a lot of time to work with. 4:56 to play.
Well, let's see if they go right back to the line of scrimmage and use the hurry-up offense with 4:56 to go here.
Kosar setting in the shotgun at his 33. Steelers with 6 defensive backs in. Only man open was running back Joe Morris, and he's ahead for a gain of only 3 yards before he struck hard on the play by Hardy Nickerson.
There's Bubby on the sideline trying to...
He looks a lot better. That's good to see.
Yeah, but without the anterior cruciate ligament, that knee joint is not stable from front to back. It will move back and forth, and there's some grating and some pain in there.
They've had a lot of luck with a lot of these guys, though, Trump, with strengthening the quadriceps and the hamstring muscle. Oh, Brennan dives at the ball. They've not looked at him often today, and Bernie Kosar took a hard hit. Donald Evans got to him. Let's check the Budweiser 10-minute ticker. Jets and Dolphins in overtime. Lions and Bills getting close to OT. The Dallas Cowboys have defeated Atlanta, and Dallas... We'll check on that play. Here is a 29-7 lead now by Cincinnati. Dallas wins the NFC West with that victory. Is running down the field with the ball. Leroy Horde. He's taken down on the play by Jeff Brady.
Horde has made some big receptions for this team this year as an outlet receiver, and that again is a great one.
Browns getting closer. Excuse me, Trump.
Yeah, Don, I was going to say, this hurry-up offense is something that Cleveland does very well and hurts their opponents. I'm surprised they haven't gone to it earlier.
Kosar fires. Brian Brennan almost had it. The coverage came in and made the strike just as the ball arrived. That was Carnell Lake, who is another big league hitter. The All-American linebacker is a collegiate, now strong safety.
Gerald Williams, 57 underneath, 37 Carnell Lake on top. It's there just the right time, just as the ball gets there.
And the game clock shows 3:38 to play.
Looks like blitz, Don.
Blitz it is. Throwing a catch. Webster Slaughter. He's down to the 28-yard line. On a 2nd and 10 play, the Browns get 8. Tackled by Richard Shelton.
Sean Vincent also there. Slaughter, really a big day so far. I think that's his 11th catch, 10th catch for 114 yards for Webster Slaughter.
Joe Morris breaks a tackle, gets ahead. He's close to a first down. The ball is advanced very close to the 26-yard line.
You see Bernie, again, the intelligence of Bernie. He turned around to the official at the outset, said, "You're going to measure, you're going to measure." And he got Pat Haggerty to measure. That stops the clock. Kosar goes to the line, to the sideline for this fourth down play if they don't make it.
Browns have their full complement of 3 timeouts remaining. So do the Steelers.
This will be fourth down and very, very short. So it's just little things like that that if you can get out of your quarterback means so much. They save the timeout. The clock is stopped.
Pat Haggerty now stands in. And he starts the clock. 2:56 to play and running. Bills and Lions have gone to overtime, tied 14-all. Leroy Horde gets the call, and he appears to have the first down by a good foot or two. That's a lot on a play that close. So the Browns get 4 new downs as the clock keeps ticking. 2:34 to play. Browns down by 7.
Well, he gets hit behind the line of scrimmage here, but he keeps those legs churning. Greg Lloyd, 95, makes first contact, and Horde spins. That's when he gets across the 25-yard line, and that's the first down.
First down throw by Kosar is going for the distance, and the ball is intercepted. An extraordinary play, and again it's Richard Shelton.
That's his third.
Of the toughest quarterback in the AFC to intercept, Bernie Kosar, and Shelton's picked him 3 times.
First half, we had Gerald Williams with 3 sacks for Pittsburgh. Second half, 3 interceptions by Richard Shelton, and he is a substitute for David Johnson, who is out with a pulled Achilles tendon. How about that? Webster Slaughter is the intended receiver. This young man from Liberty has had one whale of a day.
Kosar has now thrown for over 300 yards, but has had 3 intercepted.
By number 24, Richard Shelton of Liberty College. Same place as Eric Green.
The injured tight end of the Steelers. Shelton's biggest play, well, that's probably just as big. It could have been a game saver. The go-ahead margin. The 7 points that he put up when he, the 6 points followed by the extra point when he ran back an interception, 57 yards. Coach No likes all this.
How about that?
Steelers now at their leisure, looking for with 2:06 to play. Browns do have 3 timeouts to call if the Steelers don't advance the ball.
Yeah, Browns could get the ball back here, so Pittsburgh's got to protect it, and they got to drive for a first down. Sweep right or left here with Worley. Which do you pick?
I think we go, how about up the middle? I'll wait till they got the ball, and that is Tim Worley running the ball down to the 2-minute warning. He got ahead for 3, so the Browns get a call timeout official. It doesn't count up their total of 3. Chuck Noll and his Steelers 2 minutes from their 7th victory of the season, but they've got to hold on. They have second down and 7 coming up. And the Cleveland Browns, if they can stop them, can still get possession back. They have 3 timeouts remaining, do the Browns.
All Pittsburgh has to do here is hang on to the football.
Worley for the gap, finds it, moves ahead and gets across the 30-yard line to the 31.
Well, there's inexperience on Worley's part. He does a good thing in picking up the first down. The bad thing is he gets out of bounds, so the clock stops again for Cleveland. Stay in bounds. You don't fight for inches. You try to get seconds off the clock.
Okay. But Worley does do very good work getting 4 new downs for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 1:54 to go in the game.
Who's coming in here and who's coming out? Dwight Stone comes in. Graham comes out. Make that Mills comes out.
Worley and Hodge are the runners for Pittsburgh. Pitch back Worley. Browns move laterally very quickly, and Eric Turner signals a timeout. So the Browns stop the clock with 1:46 to play. Cleveland trailing in the game 17-10. Trying desperately to get the ball back from the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And if the Steelers win, they'll finish the season with a 4-2 record in the division, which is very important to Chuck Nolan and his staff. And Cleveland will fall to 2-4 in the division. Is this Chuck Nolan's last game as a head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Because he said the only place he'll ever coach is Pittsburgh.
You want a public referendum when they put Chuck and his wife on the scoreboard with the Christmas greetings. That was maybe the biggest ovation of this day.
A standing ovation. I think all these people in Three River Stadium remember the decade of the 70s when Chuck Noll and the Steel Curtain and the Pittsburgh Steelers owned professional football. Owned it.
I asked Dan Rooney at practice yesterday, the president of the Steelers, what about Chuck? And he said, it isn't certain he won't be back, which left me more confused.
That's a double negative, isn't it?
He got me. Merrill Hodge runs. Marker comes in. Could be a holding call, and the penalty stops the clock with 1:40 to go.
Now that 3 interceptions. Here's Pat Haggerty.
Have a crackback.
Illegal crackback by, I think, White Stone.
It's a doubleheader day on NBC Sports. The Chiefs and the Raiders are ready to battle at the Los Angeles Coliseum. They'll be meeting again next week in an AFC wild card game, and the victor in today's game will host a wild card meeting next weekend.
And you know, the 3 interceptions by Richard Shelton, the most in a game since Donnie Shell did it back in the 70s.
Is that right?
I don't think Donnie Shell returned one for a touchdown.
That game is now underway, the Chiefs and the Raiders, and there's no score so far in the first quarter. Thanks today to our spotters, Mike McGinley and Tim Fogarty, and statisticians George Jordan and DJ Wilson.
Well, I got to tell you, Pittsburgh is certainly giving Cleveland a last gasp here.
They are that. 1:40 to go.
I can't believe they'd even throw it, even though it's second down in, what, 20? 24.
Pitch back. Running hard with the ball is Leroy Thompson. He gets his first call at a critical time. We're told the Jets game is over. And who won it, please? There you go. Raul Alegre hits a field goal from 30 yards out in overtime, and the Jets go to the playoffs with an 8-8 record. Mark Clayton won't be making a lot of predictions in the near future, as long as he's working for Don Shula.
He guaranteed victory. Detroit beat Buffalo in overtime, 17-14. Well, let's see. Cleveland has 1 timeout left. Pittsburgh is facing 3rd down and 20.
Full look now at the Budweiser 10-minute ticker. The Jets defeat Miami. They both finished 8-8, but the Jets, by virtue of 2 victories over the Dolphins, go to the playoffs as the final playoff team, final wild card team in the American Conference. Hand off to Hodge. He runs on 3rd down. Now the punting unit will be called on. The Browns down to 1 timeout remaining.
You got to think now that the Browns have to go after the punter. And Cleveland takes its last timeout. This has not been easy for Chuck Noll, has it?
It has not. As you mentioned at the outset, his players said he was coaching harder this week than he has all season. On Friday, Chuck Noll was jumping people, pointing out in very decided language. Little mistakes as he was getting ready, not perhaps for his final game, but to play an arch rival, the Cleveland Browns. He wanted this one badly, and we'll see now if they can hold off. The Pittsburgh defense can hold off Bernie Kosar in the Browns passing game. The Browns will have about 120 to work with. Here's the punt, a high punt by Straczynski. The Bearcats signaled for by Webb Slaughter at the 41-yard line.
Now let's go back to the replay of the game. It's got to be Richard Shelton's interception return for a touchdown. The Canon camcorder replay of the game. This is the play of the game, his third interception, not the one he returned for the touchdown, but his third of the game. Killed a drive by the Cleveland Browns, and I would certainly suspect he is our Avis We Try Harder player of the game too. But Cleveland's still got a chance here.
They do indeed, with 1:17 left to play. Here's Kosar dropping to throw on first down. They give him time. Now he runs out of it, and Kosar's caught from behind at the 40. Gerald Williams with his 4th sack today, his 9th of the season.
No timeouts for Cleveland, so they got to go right back to the line of scrimmage.
Steeler defense locked in a 3-deep zone. They've got guys way back off the ball. Backpedaling now as Kosar stands in. Throwing on the run, he makes the connection with Webster Slaughter. And he's down to the 37-yard line. But the Browns at this point powerless to stop the clock unless, of course, Kosar elects to just throw the ball down, which he can do.
The obvious advantage that Pittsburgh defense has here is Cleveland needs a touchdown. He does throw it into the ground, stops the clock. 39 ticks left.
So it looks like this one will go right to the final gun with Bernie pitching into the end zone. 39 seconds to play. Cleveland Browns with no timeouts remaining, and the Pittsburgh Steelers holding to a 17-10 lead.
I count 7 defensive backs in the ball game.
Kosar gets time. Again, he's got to run. He puts his head down, and Kosar's down to the 22-yard line. It's a first down for Cleveland. But time of the essence. It's ticking away. 23, 22. No timeouts left for the Browns, who are down by 7. And Kosar stops the clock, wasting first down, but he had to do it.
And the most important thing here is stop that clock.
Now the employee owners of Avis salute the game's MVP. Richard Shelton is the winner of the We Try Harder award. Avis, the official car rental company of the NFL. Richard Shelton with 3 interceptions of Bernie Kosar. 1 return, 57 yards for a touchdown. That was the last Steelers score, and that right now is the margin of victory. Kosar drops. 3-man rush. He swings it off. Here's Leroy Horde heading down close, and he gets out of bounds at the 13-yard line. So the Steelers, once again, as so many NFL teams do, have gone to a prevent defense, which has allowed the Browns to march right down the field. A 3-man rush, and Kosar getting time, which he didn't have against their base defense, moves the Browns into scoring position. This one could go to overtime if Kosar can get him in. 11 seconds left. Kosar takes a look. He fires hard and throws an incomplete pass as he was almost caught for yet another sack by Gerald Williams.
Williams has had 4 on the day. Almost gets his 5th, and Bernie just threw that ball away. Look at his jersey.
One play, 6 seconds.
Well, you got to try 2. You got to think you could get 2 in here.
Well, they got to be fast.
4th down, Don. 4th down and 1. They got to go to the end zone.
Crowd noise is intense despite all the no-shows. Here's Kosar taking a look on the run, and Bernie Kosar is caught, and the Steelers win the game 17-10. Greg Lloyd with the sack, his 8th. And Chuck Noll has a winning day, and this the conclusion of his 23rd season. Is it his last?
Boy, look at all the cameramen around him.
Our Thanks to our executive producer, Terry O'Neill, coordinating producer, John Francis. Producer today was Victor Frank, director, Richard Klein. For Bob Trumpy, this is Don Criqui. Chuck Noll trotting off of Victor. It's a doubleheader.